Time to get in the air. We're taking off, L.A.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah!
Come on.
Positive vibes.
Buenos dias.
Positive vibes in the house. Buenos dias. Roar to you, Emily. All the things that we say here at the start of the Trav and Slee Show. How you feeling now?
What's going on? What is going on? I'm looking at T-Raj. You're starting to. Are you going to go back? Okay. So
I need to recreate a chin.
Is it?
You need to draw the line?
Yeah. Look. I just need enough of a shadow to come over my chin.
Honestly,
So
Trav,
it looks
I
like.
can use some contour. I can get some contour and
Look, I'll take whatever you got.
Well,
I need to create a jawline again.
You were taking votes, and people were saying that you look a little younger.
I do.
I thought you were going to just say, you know what? I'm going with that. No.
It's a lot of face.
Yeah.
It's a lot of face.
Distinguished when you look older.
Thank you,
Not
Emily.
as much
Thank
face
you.
as one of the other faces that we saw yesterday. A lot of face.
Look, there's some like if you
There's-
just flip channels, eventually you're like, at least I don't look like that. You know, you're always going to find something that makes you feel a little better. And
Yeah, a little facer.
It happened. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
You good?
And would like to confirm, Jorge still won't believe me, and Jorge's going to say I'm lying. I'm really looking forward to coming Saturday.
You're
I'm gonna
coming.
be there.
It's official?
It's official.
All right.
I'm going to get to see the Roger house. I'm going to actually bring
$30.
Oh, I'm going to bring a sleeping bag.
Nah, I'll let you use a couch.
I'm going to bring a sleeping bag. I'm going to bring some stuff. I told
Good.
you because I'm
Sleepover.
in Anaheim later today.
Oh, right.
So there's a good chance I might be knocking on the door around 9:30.
Key under the mat. Just show up whenever you want, and you could go knock it
you don't
out.
have the
swim
fake
across
rock?
the moat.
Yeah, with the fake. We have a look. Everybody's got a spot, right? There's a spot on
Yeah.
everybody. Mine would be relatively hard to find. You got to be a little creative to find it. I'm not worried
That was
about
the
it.
fake rock.
Yeah, fake
Oh,
rock's
okay,
a good
that's
one.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Speaking of hard
My
to
mom
find,
puts it in like a planter, and then this is at her house. It's in a planter, and I'm basically like digging as if I'm taking roots out of some kind of a plant. I'm like, Mom, just put it somewhere else.
But speaking of hard to find, I have a guess for your tattoo again.
Oh,
Okay.
Ooh.
Is it the Dodgers logo?
it is not.
No.
Okay. I was thinking of the ball on fire. It looks a little bit like the Dodger baseball when it's been used in certain times.
Yep, that's good.
So
it's a
it's not
good
that?
guess. It's a good guess.
Okay.
You are you're missing one element to it. You've basically got there are three elements to it, and you have two of them.
So is there a bat involved?
No,
Okay. Is there
Is
a glove
vet-
involved?
no.
Is Vezia a part of it at all?
If there were Vezia, I would have taken a belt sander to my shoulder and gotten rid of it. It's no,
So I
no
asked,
Vezia.
I asked them.
Positive vibes, Hal. Come on, man.
Why? I
Positive
didn't say
vibes.
anything
You
negative.
brought up
I just
Vezia.
I know, I got the hat on, man. Come on.
I brought up
Vezia by
one player.
definition. Yeah, but you didn't bring up like.
And he's
Evan
a San
Phillips.
Diego guy.
You didn't bring.
He is, I think, Alpine.
I know.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, positive vibes, Lee. Come on.
Okay,
man.
well, what if I would have said Mookie?
That's not good right now. We need positive vibes. Like anything can happen. Hey, it only takes one swing.
Optimism.
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. There's
One game
nothing
at a time.
then that I could say right now to have a positive.
General positivity. We don't need to get into too many specifics about this right now. That hey,
If I just ask what time the game is, you're going to be like,
that's fine.
oh, that's negative.
6:07. It's fine. We can do that. That's fine. If you get into the specifics of what has happened in the first two games, that's very
At
negative.
least the Diamondbacks are not restricting Dodger fans' ability to buy tickets to the game.
You know what? That's a good question.
No, they're not. They,
no,
they can't.
I said that wrong.
Why? I would have done it.
I'm
course
curious
you
what it's good because
I would've
usually
done it.
it's Chase Field, right? I think
Yeah,
it's
it is Chase.
Field. Is what is it? 75% Dodger fans typically,
Well, the problem is in a regular season game,
right?
I whatever percentage you want to throw out, I'm going to say you're underselling it. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I don't know what that's going to look like in a playoff game. Playoff game, I would think maybe closer to 50-50 or
We've
something
seen
like that.
them play the Diamondbacks in the playoffs before, and it's a lot of Dodger fans. The difference this year is that the Diamondbacks have the upper hand at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment, but they have a 2-0 lead, so I wouldn't be so. And again, they've been around 25 plus years or so it's not like they haven't had a chance to develop a fan base. But the Dodgers are the most popular team in Phoenix. That's just true. So whether or not they get a quasi home field advantage, I don't even know if that's a good thing, quite frankly. They had a home field advantage on Saturday. What did that do? Had a home
Maybe
field
that's why
advantage
they're not
on
blocking
Monday.
the tickets.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you need the Arizona fans specifically. Maybe they give a little bit different juice than the LA fans. I don't
Whatever
know.
it takes.
There
I'm here
was
for
no
it.
there was no juice. The only juice at Dodger Stadium, there was silence.
Sweat. It wasn't
Positivity.
juice.
Positivity.
It was sweat. It was a here we go again sort of situation. But look, here. Okay, let's get into it. The path to victory is not super complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Play well, right? And I know that sounds super stupid, but what I mean is the Dodgers did not win 100 games because they were lucky. They didn't win 100 games because they caught a couple of breaks along the way. They didn't win 100 games because everyone else is terrible. They won 100 games because they're pretty darn good. They won 100 games because they have a lineup that is, got 2 MVP candidates in it, and then a bunch of guys after that have been very productive hitters.
Yeah.
They won 100 games because even though their pitching is inexperienced, it's been pretty effective, in particular their bullpen in the second half of the season. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just play well. Get a decent starting pitching performance. Doesn't have to be 8 innings and 2 hits. Decent. If you said right now, Lance Lynn, you get 4 innings out of him and a run or 2, you going to take it? Sure. I think everybody probably would.
Yeah.
Get something like that. Mookie gets on base. Freddie gets a hit. Max Muncy pops. Just be the team that you were for 6 months for one night. It's not a huge ask.
And then another night. And then another night.
You know what? Honestly, I'm not even worried about another night. Just because if they don't win the night, nothing else matters. Win tonight, and we'll worry about Thursday on Thursday. I'm not worried about Thursday until Thursday is necessary. And the other part of it is, too, and this – get into the bullpen. Kelly and Gallen have pitched relatively deep into games. The soft spot of this Arizona pitching staff is that middle bullpen portion. Get to that because they had guys on base in game 2. They didn't get the knockout shot, but they did have guys on base. Get guys on base, knock out that starter, get in that bullpen, and just be the Dodgers. It's not a crazy formula.
It's not a crazy formula, but I'm going to add a couple components that I think will simplify it as well. There's never been a moment, and I know the series has only been 2 games, but there's never been a moment where the Dodgers have felt like they're comfortable.
Nope.
Or that there's some momentum.
Nope.
To give up 9 runs in the first 2 innings, you want to call it, something along those lines,
innings,
right?
Yeah.
You're playing from behind the entire time. There's never a moment where you feel like, okay, hey, we got a little bit of momentum. There's never a moment where you feel like the Arizona Diamondbacks are like, well, we got to go uphill. I forgot who said it. It might have been one of the pitchers. I can't remember who it was, but one of the guys for Arizona said, listen, we've only had to go downhill this entire time. At no point have we had to gone uphill. And I know that's a simple way of putting it, but what the Dodgers have yet to do in this series in 2 games is put any pressure on the Arizona Diamondbacks. And even if the Diamondbacks were walking in with house money, well, if you're up 6-0 or you're up 3-0, how much easier does that make that house money? It's like you're going to go to a casino and you're gambling, and right when you get there, you're up $500. Rather than being down 500, are you not walking around feeling, just comfortable about whatever happens the rest of the night? That's kind of been the Diamondbacks.
I'm going to the buffet in the bar. That's what's happening. We're gonna go get a nice meal and get a bunch of garbage from one of those buffets, and then we're gonna get a bunch of drinks, and then we're gonna probably go back to the room and go to bed. That's what I'm doing in Vegas.
I got a buffet question for you.
Okay.
How strategic are you with your plate? Because I see people. It's basically like the United Nations. Okay, every country is represented on their plate.
Sure,
and I love me some orange chicken, and I also love me some Italian meatballs. I don't need them to merge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Jorge?
Two separate trips you're talking about?
Yeah.
You'll do the orange chicken trip, and then you'll circle back for the meatballs?
Do like a type of food.
There's certain foods that can commingle.
And then you're discriminating. I feel like there's a little food prejudice going on your plate.
All I'm saying is
there's
this.
boundaries on your plate.
All I'm saying is like
Orders.
There is.
He builds a wall between his meatballs and his orange chicken.
I'm using egg rolls as like my barrier. That's all I wanted to ask about when you go there. I don't need every country represented on one plate.
I think we have a video of me and my strategy when it comes to multiple options in one spot.
Well, you are a shark, and you circle the waters for a bit, and then you go dive in somewhere.
I like to take complete inventory of what the situation is before I make any decisions. Right? Yeah. What do we have? Oh, got meatball. Okay.
Little picture here because I'm coming back.
Noted. Ooh, is that a Cuban sandwich? Okay, that's cool. Oh, pizza. Hey, wait, is that a prime rib station?
Yeah.
Is that smoked salmon? So now I know where everything is. Now I'll be a little more strategic. I'm not quite as definitive as you are when it comes to putting. I'll put the smoked salmon with the meatballs. I'm happy to do that. That's fine. I will put a Cuban sandwich next to, carved turkey. I'm okay with all of these things on the same plate.
You're, by the way, to take that first round. That's a patient man. I don't have that patience. My hands start shaking when I'm going. I'm like, there's so much food. I don't know what to do.
I'm not here to put on a performance. I'm here to get something done.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
I'm breathing hard in line. I'm like, I got to eat.
I'm not showing off. I'm here to do work.
See, I go for the steak first, a little bit of mashed potatoes,
sure,
some
but
greens.
That's heavy.
Okay,
No. But they don't give you a big steak when you go to a buffet.
Yeah, but you can ask. You can say, I want another one.
But
They're not going to say no.
You've made a strategic error, and you have to remain very disciplined in this thing. And these are things we can get into and Ask Trav, which we're going to do here in about 35 minutes, because this is my favorite thing to talk about. But Jorge, if I may, you do you. But it's just a small bit of advice from one friend to another. The mashed potatoes need to be the very last thing you go for.
Oh, but I get a little portion.
But even they're good. Don't get me wrong. I love mashed potatoes, but just a bite or two takes up a lot of valuable real estate in there. You want to go with the meats. You want to go with the things that you can't easily get or make yourself. And mashed potatoes are on that list.
Ribs, the meat,
the ribs, the smoked salmon, the fancy sandwiches, that kind of stuff.
It's kind of like how you should approach Korean barbecue. You don't start off with the fillets at Korean barbecue first. You want to build up, and then you end on the heaviest thing.
Sure.
I carb load right out the gate.
You have a bowl of rice before you leave
kimchi.
the house. Honey, we're going out today. Hold on, let me have a bowl of rice.
Why are you dipping bread into rice? I don't know. I'm just trying to get everything
with a beer?
But send in your Ask Travis questions either on the phone or tweet at any of us on the show, at Emily Hebel, at JabCamLA, at Alan Sliwa, at Travis Rogers, because we need to have a lot of questions today, because I think you guys have a lot of things to ask Travis. But mostly I want
to... I'm going to be selfish in this one.
Okay.
I want food questions coming your way.
Sure.
I want family questions specific coming your way. Maybe some creative pot questions, and I'm talking about the pot that Bobby
Chili
took.
pot.
Either way,
never
fine.
gave it back.
I'm
the
kind
other way.
I'm kind of a one-lane guy the other way. I'm
Yeah.
just a gummy guy. I don't have a lot of. I had to look up what a gravity bong was. I can't really help you with a lot of that stuff. But if you have gummy questions, I might be able to help you with any of that.
But mostly, I want you to take this advice from Aaron Rodgers, and this is the only time I'll ever say that.
RELAX.
Yes.
Relax.
All right. So with the idea of relax, I'm trying very hard. We've talked about the path to victory, but we need to talk about the pressure. Is it gotten as big as it's ever been? Or have we actually gone past the tipping point? It doesn't even matter anymore. That's next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
The big
All right, so Adam Schefter just tweeted out this incredibly lame thing that happened, and I hate incredibly lame thing that is terrible. But the NFL is considering fining 49ers tight end George Kittle for the T-shirt he wore on Sunday night versus the Cowboys. It contained a quote-unquote profane message about the Cowboys. Under the terms of the NFL's fine schedule, personal messages can carry a fine of $10,927. Come on, guys. Have a little fun. I know that,
Wait a minute here.
The rules
is that
are the rules.
surprising?
That the NFL has silly rules?
No, I'm just saying it's lame.
Let's say LeBron in the middle of a game took off the top jersey and the undershirt he had said F Boston. I'm pretty sure he's going to get fined.
He'd become my favorite player on the spot.
I'm
That's
pretty
what would
sure
happen.
you can't do that.
I know you can't do it. It's just lame. Twitty Wayne.
You're both right. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it, but I kind of dig it. You know, and I kind of look.
And also $10,000 to George Kittle is.
But hold on,
but
10,927 to be exact.
There must be some threshold that at 928 it becomes a different deal,
like a different tax
right?
bracket
Something
thing.
like that. Something like that. But I want my athletes to be colorful.
Themselves.
I want them to be genuine. I want them to express themselves. But there is a line where if you have a F so-and-so on your shirt, the league's probably going to intervene.
I'm not,
Especially if it's an F, maybe the league, too, then obviously you're going to get something else.
Well, the part I have a problem with is like where they'll fine you for wearing your socks a little too high or a little too low. It's
so
like,
stupid.
come on, man.
That stuff, stupid.
Yeah.
Somebody got fined for not wearing socks.
Yeah,
For the
well, no,
Dolphins.
they have to be worn to a very specific length. There's a whole guy who, when you run out on the field, is there taking inventory of every player, and if it's not right, you get the FedEx from, like Kirk says on the Rams pregame show, the Corona Extra countdown to kickoff.
Yep.
You will get the FedEx from Park Avenue later in the week saying you owe us this amount of money.
One thing that was kind of cute, so I follow Jason Kelsey's wife on TikTok, and she posted a video of her little daughter watching the Eagles game, and it only recognized one of the players because he had pink cleats on, and it was very cute.
Well, there are, like, the shoes thing, they're a little, because A.J. Brown on the weekend had pink shoes on, I think. A.J. Brown, I think it was pink. That he had, like, for what the Eagles aren't pink.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
it
the
was
cancer
A.J. Brown.
awareness or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let people
Breast
do their
Cancer
thing.
Awareness Month, I believe, is October.
Yeah, let people live. Let people wear their shoes. Baseball does a good job with that. Baseball does a good job with letting guys write stuff on their shoes and all that kind of stuff. As
Customize
long as it's not,
them, flags, paint, pictures,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Kike wears like bright green shoes, and Rojas wears bright green shoes.
And the NBA, you can only do it on the road, I think, right, Al?
Is that what it is, Al?
You can wear like colorful shoes on the road only.
I don't know how it is. I get confused. But
I know Christmas Day is like anything goes on Christmas.
Yeah. By the way, and I think that's kind of changed over the years as well. So NBA is more friendly in that. Department.
Dodgers are obviously down 2-0. They're running out a pitcher who. Do you know how many home runs Lance Lynn has given up this year?
Wasn't it like 40-something or
44?
44.
He has surrendered 44 home runs. It's a lot.
And
For
one
those
at
of you
the
that are
scrimmage.
not super
How is
big
he
baseball
not the
fans,
guy?
and
How's
in
he-
the scrimmage. He did give up that one to Mookie, apparently.
How is he not the guy for the home run derby? How is he not marching out there saying you're gonna bring somebody else?
But only on the condition that he's actually trying to get guys out. not if
They can't hit him out when he's not pitching.
No, dude, throw me your slider. Come on, let's get it done. That's not
batter's
cool.
asking-
Like, pause it, Sliwa, how dare you?
A batter's asking if they get a guy out first.
Yeah, no. I don't want your straight. I need that cutter or whatever it is you're doing.
That wasn't cool.
Yeah, that was not positive.
Freaking cool.
All right, they're 0-2. All of the pressure that took place. I talked about it on Saturday where Kershaw, 2 hitters into the game, was like, oh, my God, here we go again. Same thing happened on Monday night. Bobby Miller walks a guy. It's like, ay, it's happening all over again. Are we – and maybe I'm just looking for silver linings here. Is there have we gotten to the point where there's no pressure on them because they're going to lose, because they're in such a hole, because they've looked so bad that they've hit the point that you and I talk about so often, which is, you know what, blanket. Let's just go out there and play, and not a fake. Hey, guys, let's just go out there and play like we got nothing to lose. When you hear that, it's like, oh, you got a lot to lose. Listen to the sound, but literally, guys, come on, man. We'll all be in Mexico in 4 days. Let's just go play a couple
Who
of games.
was in Cabo yesterday? They're going to be joining
Right.
whatever caller that was in Cabo.
Right, like to that point where there's none, or is it still just the weight of the baseball universe on their shoulders?
Okay, I'm going to set it up for you. I think there is so much pressure on the organization right now. I think there's so much pressure on Dave Roberts right now. I think there's so much pressure on Mookie Betts, on Freddie Freeman, on Lance Lynn, if you want to call that. I mean, not really him. Just I think more of these other players that are the ones that you depend on to get you to the next round. And I can't really find an argument why there wouldn't be. I understand you're down 0-2.
Because it's over already?
So here's the thing, and I gave this as an example yesterday, and I'm not sure if it's it's just a different perspective. I see the Dodgers as a team that's always dangerous. Mm-hmm. I see the Dodgers as a team that if momentum can just start going their way for one game, Trav, they can win 2 in a row. Get out of here. This is not like if at the end of the day you need a larger sample size to be the team that you are, win one freaking game and you're 2 away from.
That's the argument for it. Just be yourself for one night.
However, the pressure is you are the Dodgers. And this is something that's happened every single year in the playoffs. It feels like every single season you look at the Dodgers, and when the season ends, you know what you say? They underachieved again. Mm-hmm. So why, when you fall behind 0-2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks that had 84 wins, you lose the first 2 games here at Dodger Stadium, and you have one of the greatest pitchers of your organization saying it was embarrassing, using terms like that? How is the pressure not mounting? I have a very difficult time of saying to myself, just because they're down 0-2, that there's less pressure on the Dodgers. You're about to get swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think that's less pressure. I think it's more pressure. And the conversations that we've had about Dave Roberts, about if they're in a position that we come in here tomorrow and they got swept and you're just coming back with Dave Roberts and saying, well, we're going to try it all over again. Baseball happens and this happens and that happens. I think there's more pressure than any other time.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you could try to trick yourself into it a little bit, which typically doesn't work. It has felt so over, quite frankly, really since Bobby Miller walked the opening guy of Game 2. And I understand how ridiculous that sounds. I understand how fatalistic that sounds, that you're telling me that one game into Game 2, you'd already thought that the series was over. Yeah, kind of, unfortunately. Now, I'm not saying that you can't flip it back. I really do think that the pressure that exists on the Dodgers right now is immense. I agree with you. But I think that all it takes is a little bit of mo. A little bit of mo. What if the Dodgers win comfortably tonight, right? What if the Dodgers, Mookie hits a home run, Freddie hits a home run, Max Muncy hits one, JD Martinez has 3 doubles, or whatever it is.
They win 7-3.
Sure. The game's never in doubt. They do to Arizona what Arizona did to them in the first game, right? Yep. They just jump out early and they have a comfortable win. You go out there and you get in the middle of Thursday, and it's a game, okay? Now there is pressure on Arizona. Now there is hey, we do not want to go. Maybe they do want to go back to Dodger Stadium, but we don't want to go back on the road. To your point, we're swimming against the current all of a sudden. The Dodgers have never put themselves in that position. I don't know if you can mentally trick yourself. Yep. I don't know if you can psych yourself up for it, because the most frustrating part of all of this, as I see it, and I would like to hear from the listeners too, 877-710-ESPN. What would you like to see them do differently? Like literally right now, I'm not talking about, well, you should have done this at the deadline, or you should have done that. Okay, just tonight, moving forward, what would you like to see them do differently to try to spark whatever hasn't been happening? Do you want them to do a different lineup? Do you want them to play more small ball? Do you want to shuffle the order of where you're putting guys? Like, what specifically are the cures to what's been going wrong? Because here's the thing. Yeah. I fancy myself a reasonably informed baseball person. Yep. There is no, well, just do this with this group. Sometimes there is. I said this to you this morning.
Okay.
Last year with the Lakers, it was very clear that Russell Westbrook had to go. You got to get him out of here. It's a bad vibe throughout the building, and it's mostly because of Russell Westbrook's presence. Get him out. And we're waiting around like, why isn't he gone? Why isn't he gone? There isn't an obvious problem to fix other than we got to pitch better. Okay, who? How? What do you do? We got to hit better. Okay, I agree. How do you make it happen? And this is what I'm talking about.
So are you talking about this game, or are you talking about moving forward?
Both, frankly, but more specifically this game. Like, what would you like to see
I'll tell you.
Dave Roberts do?
Very easy answer of what I'd like to see them do. Play like you played for 100 wins.
Okay, but they clearly have not done that for sure. What do you do differently tonight?
But just, I think we can't. They're not doing what they did.
Why not?
All they're doing now is either it's a tense choke job, giving up X amount of runs before the game even gets to the second inning or third inning. It's not a matter of doing something different. It's if baseball is a game of sample size.
That's what I'm saying. But I think
if
we're on the same page.
But if it's a game of sample size, you're not asking the Dodgers to do anything different. What you're asking the Dodgers to do is don't collapse. They're collapsing.
Two guys have collapsed. The two guys at the front of the order have collapsed. The guys that were the MVPs are not the MVPs right now. And this is the crazy part about it.
More than two guys.
You're talking about the pitchers too?
Yeah. You got to put them in the category too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But they didn't lose. They lost game 1 because Kershaw was terrible. Mm-hmm. They lost game 2 because they didn't hit. Bobby Miller, as bad as he was, only gave up 3 runs. They only gave up 4 runs as a team. That's more than
and
good
he gave
enough.
up 3 because they pulled him. But
no,
yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
But he only gave up 3 runs. It wasn't like they were behind 9-0 in the other game.
Game 2 is a lot different than game 1.
That's what I'm saying. That there isn't a do this. It's literally we just got to play again and hope it turns. You can't force these things. It's so weird. It's the only sport where you go 2 games in a row doesn't mean anything because you can win 10 in a row and there isn't a, well, we started doing this. It just kind of happens.
Can I flip it for a quick second? And I'll flip it this way because I think what you're saying is, well, what do you want them to do differently?
Differently than the first 2 games.
I don't think anybody's asking them to be anything. If the argument was this, let's just use as an example. Dodgers are up 2-0 on the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks are just being the Diamondbacks. Guys, look, we're doing everything we can. We just can't beat them. The problem is it's flipped the other way. You're not asking the Dodgers to be something that they're not. You're just asking the Dodgers to not be less than, beyond less than what they have.
But the how. Just say, do what you normally do. Okay, I'm with you, but how do you get them out of the funk that they're in? And this is the crux of my argument. There isn't a thing to do. You just have to wait. You have to hope that it happens. You have to hope that guys relax. You have to hope that a ball finds a hole. You have to hope that somebody runs into one. And then everybody can...
So then what do you... So
this is my point.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying that... So is the conversation... Okay, what I want them to do, can they have a game in Game 3 where they actually have the lead for a quick second? To answer your question, if you want something specific, now I'm not going to tell you how they do that. I mean,
that's the hard part.
Mookie could fly out with his first at bat. Freddie can get swing and whatever it is.
We've got people with ideas, and some of them look like they might actually be halfway good ideas. We'll take some of your phone calls coming up in just a little bit. Plus, Lord Bergman apparently has a royal announcement to make. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. If you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James, 1-800-9-million. You know the number. Say it with me. We'll say it together. 1-800-900-0000. Because when you call Sweet James, you're getting experts in both parts of this game, right? You have a pre-litigation department, which is basically where they negotiate the settlement for you. And they're not going to take a settlement. They're going to get the settlement that is best for you, what you're entitled to, what you deserve. They know how to do that. You know who else knows how they know how to do it? The insurance companies. That's why they play ball with Sweet James. And if they can't come to a settlement that works for you, that's when they go to trial. They've got their own litigation department as well. Over 500 trials under their belt. That is so many more than most of these other firms. Why would you call anybody else? Go to the best. Sweet James has been awarded best attorneys in America. This is what they do all day, every day. 1-800-9-million. If you are hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James at 1-800-9-million or sweetjames.com.
All right, so let me ask you guys this something.
Oh,
Travis,
we actually need the trumpets because before you speak, dun,
yes,
dun, 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 it is Lord Bergman coming to Travis and Sliwa show.
That was more when he had Illy. Where's your Illy?
The line was too long. I couldn't get it.
Come on, man.
You have to wait in line. You have no juice. I thought you
everything
just
has
walked to the
changed.
front of the line.
Everything's
Don't you have a
changed.
Genie pass?
You say that. I actually thought about just going to the front and being like, "Hey, help me out here."
Yeah, but if you have to
I
think
decided
about
not
it, then
to.
there's not.
Yeah,
juice.
there's an Adobe conference
I
going
would have
on.
gotten it. I would have gotten it, but they said that I felt bad going in front of the Adobe conference people.
What's the announcement?
So there is a very big announcement. How many times, Travis, Sliwa, even Emily and Jorge, how many times have you been asked, how can I hear John and Michael when on something else? Where can I hear them if I'm not on the radio? Where can I hear them?
Frequently.
A lot of times. Yep.
All the time.
We
right?
were boxed out, I think, by the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Now, starting today for the Lakers game when it starts at 7 o'clock, you can go to the ESPN LA app and hear the Lakers broadcast streamed directly to the Lakers, into the ESPN LA app.
That's great.
From right now, starting tonight.
That's great. That's big time.
All you have to do is go into the ESPN LA app. You'll see a little Lakers play-by-play listen live button.
Perfect.
Click it. John and Michael are in your ears.
Bam!
Right then. Bam! I can't do it as well as Chris, but bam!
That's pretty good. That was pretty good.
That's big time.
If you do Chris, you got to get like the legs.
you gotta-
flying
you gotta-
and everything going on.
You got to go for it. You can't just kind
can't
of
just be like, bam.
dip your toe in. You
Can't
got to
say, bam.
cannonball in.
Yeah,
Bam!
exactly.
That's great
Bam!
news. That's great news.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's
matter
huge
where you're
news,
going.
right?
Doesn't matter if you're traveling, driving. This app, you can listen to every game on the app. That's big. That's big time right there.
From now on, you can hear it directly on the ESPN LA app. Lakers play-by-play, listen live,
That's
click
huge.
it, and you can hear John and Michael's in your ears. It's amazing.
It's great.
That's
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that was that.
That's a good
been,
announcement, I
That's
think.
been
That's a great
some- No,
announcement.
I will tell you this because that's been something for years. Listeners have always asked, "Is there any way we get the games on the app?" And the NBA was like, "No,
No.
you cannot."
But now you can listen
That's big
anywhere.
time.
You could be in New York. You could be in Atlanta.
No.
All right, well, never mind. You can be certain places.
You can be 75 miles away.
There are
You can
places
be-
you can be.
You can be in
Aren't
Commerce.
necessarily right here.
You can be in Pasadena.
New York Street,
Be in
Chicago
West Covina.
Street.
Of course.
If you're in LA,
Yeah.
you can hear it on the ESPN
That's big.
LA app.
That's
It's
big.
huge. I get to ask that all the time, and I'm
Yep.
always like, go to the Lakers app, go to this, go to that. So now, directly on the ESPN Lakers app, you can go into your app store right now, download the
the app.
ESPN LA app, because now you can hear it on your phone and put it onto the
That's
CarPlay,
great
into
news.
whatever you
Let's
need.
go.
You can listen. So
That's
it's
good.
huge news.
I thought it was going to be something about Ask Trav. Maybe it was going to be, hey, there's a buffet question or something like that. But no,
I got
this is.
I got an ask, Trav.
What do you got?
Do you want to be on the Blue Review fully?
The woo-woo. That's how we call it.
You know my first question. You know. You
I do know your first question.
You know, Al's
it
heard
comes-
me say this 100 times.
How's that cheddar
Whiff
looking?
it. What's in it for Travis? Right?
You get to hang out every morning with Greg Bergman, corporate Greg, Loyal.
And Parker
Groyle.
Bell.
I like
Yeah,
that. You would've said,
sometimes
almost
my
said
words get mixed
Groyle.
up.
I
I
like that.
enjoy our morning conversations.
I do.
I look forward to them, and I enjoy them, but I don't know if I need a straight half hour right before. But
You guys basically
negotiations are open.
do the Blue Review before. Every time I walk
do.
in, you guys are in the heart of the Blue Review.
Well, this is
The
why
Blue
I
Review.
think the Blue Review we would be good. When I come on,
yeah.
I enjoy it because we're both passionate about that topic, and
right.
it's rare, I think, where you have two people that both deeply care about a team
Yep.
that see it very differently.
Yes,
and I
we
think
do not
do
have
see
the
it
same
very-
opinions
No.
all the time.
No,
It's not
occasionally, but not.
Yes,
not all
ask
the
him
time.
your pressure question for tonight.
Is it the most unbelievably pressure-packed Dodger game that they're going to have for a very long time because they're on the verge of getting swept by an 84 team, or because it's inevitable and it's going to happen anyway? Is it bleep it?
No
Let's just go
pressure.
out there and
No,
see.
I think there is pressure, and it's also because it goes to Dave Roberts. The pressure is so much on
I got
him.
bad news for you on that front, by the way.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
ain't happening.
No.
Nope.
I'm
just telling you right now.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, I don't know why
Gutless.
I clicked yesterday. I was fully convinced gone if they're out in this.
I'm not. Look,
It's a 1 year contract,
never
right?
say
He's
never.
in the. He has to get a
I'm
whole new
just telling you,
contract.
I
again.
did a little legwork this morning, asking
Mm-hmm.
around to some things, and I do not think his job is on the line tonight.
What about going up to the
can I
front
tell you?
office?
Well,
Is that a
can I tell
possibility?
you something? Can I tell you something about that? I think it's much easier to say that today, and I think in a week if the Dodgers are no longer in the playoffs and they lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and just the chatter that will happen around in L.A., the questions that are going to come to Andrew Friedman, everything. I think that narrative can change over time.
I think that the pressure will be louder than ever.
Yeah.
I think that the fans will want it more than ever. I don't think it changes the fundamental outlook of the people who actually make the decision.
Yeah, I don't think
and what you think and what look, my tune has changed a little bit. I think that the idea of, hey, do you go in a different direction just because is more interesting to me than it's ever been before. It doesn't matter what we think. There's like two people that are involved in this decision. It's the owner of the team and the president of the team. If they haven't changed their opinion on whether they like the guy or not, whether they think he does a good job or not, it doesn't matter what we think.
So I think it's a little bit different, actually, because so I've always been like, what are you going to get that's better? What are you going to get that's better? He's a great coach. He's a great manager, everything about that. And there's a lot of people like me. I think you were the same way. I know Mason and Ireland were both the same way. I think you might have even been the same way, Slee. But now all of those people are all getting onto the bandwagon of you need a new voice because this isn't the one that's
Can we go back
anymore.
to something we hit on a little bit yesterday? You actually don't know how great he is. You don't. Because the Dodgers are not a good example of how great a manager is because of how great they're ran. They have every single resource that you can ask for.
Okay,
I don't know if Dave Roberts is managing the Cincinnati Reds next season. If the Cincinnati Reds are a lot better, are they the same or are they not? You don't know.
Well, do you think that the Yankees are run well?
Not like the Dodgers.
But do you think they run well? They're
better
consistently
than
in the
they're
playoffs.
better than most.
I think they were in the playoffs 6-7 years in a row until
No,
this year.
it's like 16 years in a row or something
in the
crazy.
playoffs?
Or no, so that was over
Yeah.
500.
Okay,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
No,
that was over 500.
Yeah, but they're that type of team, and Aaron Boone is there, and that's not working. It's the same type of thing. You have stars, massive stars in New York.
They're not better run. They're not better run
Cole
than the
pitching. You have
Dodgers.
Aaron
Nobody
Judge
is.
and
They're not.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
You have all those things, and it's not working there either. Aaron Boone is not in the playoffs.
You see the point that I'm making is you really don't know how good Dave is because he's ran or he's on an organization that is the best organization in baseball.
With all the
Regular
resources, the
season.
farm system, and everything else. Al's point, I think, is the best one, which is let's see, because I'm going to make it ridiculous, but I'm genuinely asking. Okay, I'm genuinely asking. If you just put me as the manager of the Dodgers, how many games do you think they win?
85.
Okay. That probably gets you in the playoffs anyway,
Yeah,
right?
no,
And
exactly.
that's
Arizona
me.
got you in at 84.
That's me.
Yeah.
Okay? So because and this is the point. So if you just get a
You're
guy
gonna listen to
that's a
front office,
lot
you're gonna
better
get-
than me,
Yeah.
and you just get a guy that is major league average, instead of winning 100 games, maybe they win 94 or 5. Okay? At the risk of going down slightly and getting a different voice potentially, I might now look. What I would do and what they would do, I think, are very different things. I am at the point now where if it does go the way that it feels like it's headed, and I'm still reasonably optimistic about tonight, but if it does happen, if they do lose here, I'm okay if they decide to make a change. I don't think they're going to. From everything that I have heard, from everybody that I've talked to, it's that the two people who make this decision are both huge Dave Roberts fans, and they are not going to hold him responsible for this. They're not going to say, this is your fault, we're going out.
Okay.
Or we're going to...
Then I will say this. Then I think to expect the result to change
That's fair.
a year from now is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that result's going to change.
And I think that the front office, they need to actually look at, and there's going to be a lot more pressure from fan bases that were on. It was 50-50 about Dave Roberts. There was a lot of noise, mostly from Twitter and from a few, like a vocal minority.
And it's not just losing. It's you lost to the Padres when you should have
Yes.
dominated. You killed them in the regular season. You lost to the Diamondbacks. You,
make
dominate
it,
them.
You can make
it's who you
excuses.
lose to as well.
Right. It's
you didn't lose to Atlanta.
You can make excuses all you want, but this is happening year after year after year, and in the same way. It can't hit with runners in scoring position. Can't hit in times when you need it. It's all the same things over and
fair.
over that you need, and apparently that's maybe a different voice would help it out.
Maybe it doesn't work out, but at least you kind of tried something different. And we're not even there yet because they're still in the playoffs. But
I mean,
Could
what
very
we're
well
looking at is making it seem like it's a likability, but it's not. it may not be. It may
He's
happen.
got
I think
one
you're
game.
looking for likelihood.
Likelihood.
to win
I'm
a
sorry.
game.
Like, again, like the words that come out of my mouth don't always make sense. I try to do the best. Working in radio, you should be able to make sense.
Likability is something that you have. You're very likable. You have likability. Likelihood means something is likely to happen.
Thank you for correcting me in the right way. Because I was wrong in that. But I think that there's such a large minority, a large group of people that are going to want him out now. It's more than it's ever heard before.
Guys, I'm not arguing that there aren't more people that are in that side of the scale than the other. They
just want
but
change. It's less to even do with Dave.
I'm not right or wrong is a different conversation than will or won't. Won't is the answer. I'm just telling you right now. Won't.
It's a mistake.
And fine, it may be. Here's the other thing, and this is the worst possible
I'm going to go to gutless
explanation. This is the worst possible explanation for all of this stuff, but it's also probably the most true one. It sucks, and everybody's going to roll their eyes and be like, "Shut up, Travis." Baseball is weird, man.
Now stop it.
It's
Go to break.
weird. It's just one of those things. Bad teams beat good teams all the time. The best argument against that is why are you never on the right side?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know how weird baseball is? Is the Dodgers are always on the wrong side.
Right.
3 games, losing 3 games in the middle of the season is no big deal, and then all of a sudden it happens in October, and it's you want to fire everybody. It's not the best way to do it.
It's baseball.
Unless it happens year in and year out.
Ask Travis. Your phone calls as well. All coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, stuffed crust pizza is back, and Pizza Hut is dropping the price. How about this? For a limited time, you can order a one-topping Pizza Hut original stuffed crust pizza for just $13.99. That's a winning play. Order now and earn rewards for your next free pizza on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com. Again, just download the Pizza Hut app or go to pizzahut.com.
The most
Oh, it's
have
been
a
a while.
couple
That sounds so good.
I have a couple hashtag Ask Travis's. First is, as a fellow follically challenged man, would you rather get plugs or your hairline tattooed?
Okay.
And secondly, does Travis Kelce look like that guy at concerts who hugs his girl from behind and sings to her?
Yeah, I'll take the second one first. Yes, he does. Travis Kelce has a very specific type of energy, and
Is that baby girl?
yeah, that's Emily
Energy.
nailed it.
Just like that.
I could never have put it better than that, so I won't even try. Well done, Emily. So the tattooed hair or plugs are my choices in this, either or.
Yes.
All right, plugs have come a long way. The early days of
I'm listening.
plugs.
Are you flying to like Turkey or whatever? They were cost.
Well, I'm
a
not
lot
doing
less?
that. But so the early days of hair replacement was very obvious. Like you would get these little, like they almost look like rows of corn, not cornrows, but rows of corn where there'd be like 4 or 5 pieces of hair here, and then another little blah, blah, blah. It looked really bad. Now it doesn't. Like if you get good hair replacement, it looks kind of natural. So I think I would go with plugs, but only in the very modern sense of the word. A tattooed hair, I'd look like Carlos Boozer when he sprayed his hair
don't do
on.
that.
That's not going to work at all. So give me the give me the plugs.
Something that Emily just mentioned about Turkey,
Baby girl.
right? Turkey, where there's basically every Middle Eastern person who lives in the States goes to Turkey for their hair plugs.
Oh, is that how it works?
It's like $25,000 less than doing it in the States, and it
well,
looks
it's a lot less, and then there's also I get to go to Istanbul. I get to do this. I got to go do that. I've had plenty of family members.
I like to go to Dana Point
that have taken trips to Istanbul.
Good for them. I hope they had a great time.
Actually, when I went to, I don't know if my family thought. When I went to Turkey a couple years ago, I think they thought I was going to come back with
hair?
dreads.
Oh, my.
My guys, I didn't go for that.
Yeah, look, I'm not a particularly vain person. There are a couple of things that I wish I were thinner. I wish I were in better physical condition. But as far as hairline and hair color and things like that go, I'm not particularly vain in that regard.
I saw these TikToks of the guy going to Turkey to get the thing done, but then you go to the airport and it's just a bunch of white people with bandages all over their head because they are all getting it done.
I think they're all going to. There's a lot going to Mexico now too.
Yeah,
It's
a little bit closer.
I think I've been heard.
All right, it's a quick little trip.
You said you had some family members that have done
4
it.
hours.
Yeah,
It's painful, right? It like physically hurts to get it done. I believe.
it's surgery, so I'm sure it is.
I think it is, but I think it's like you said, it's a lot better than it used to be. I think that part is also a lot better than it used to be.
I'll live with it.
I'm gonna do my Travis Kelce again. Sup, baby girl. That's essentially the whole Travis Kelce.
Well, she also
But you're
you
spot
gotta
on.
rub your
did
hands together.
this. Yeah, like she was
You gotta,
like walking
look
up.
like,
Hey, girl.
Yeah. And then you got to touch your mustache a little bit or your beard.
Yeah, no, that's it. The finger and thumb on the chin is a very important part of that. You're right about
so
that.
Daniel Tapia says, would Trav rather listen to Chris do yacht rock covers or Emily do DMX covers? X gonna give it to you.
You know what? I was going to go the other way, but you kind of sold me that your DMX is pretty good. And your ability to kind of do, yeah, I'll go with Emily doing DMX.
Jorge, you got one?
Yeah, I got one more from Capitano Matt. We know you're a big fan of Jennifer Connelly.
Yes, I
but
am.
Who else is on your hall pass list?
So I have a lane here for sure, and Emily knows
Jenna
this
Fisher.
lane. Jenna Fisher is right near the top of the list.
Pam from The Office.
I'm a huge fan of Jenna Fisher.
I'll go Salma Hayek.
That's a great choice
Sofia
too.
Vergara.
Who said
yeah,
that?
I'll just do
Vergara.
Sofia
that?
Vergara.
Yeah.
Here's one. I'm going to throw this back a little bit. This is not now. Okay, let me be that right now. Not even a
So
little.
time
bit.
travel's involved.
Time travel's involved. If we go back a few years ago,
Lindsay?
yeah, Lindsay Lohan was I was a big fan of hers until she lost her mind, and it just her lifestyle choices led to a series of events that don't interest me.
How about Brittany with the snake?
Brittany with the steak, yeah, that's a little. Believe it or not, like I think when you start to see Jenna Fisher, Jennifer Connelly, and Lindsay Lohan at a point. There's a wholesomeness to this that I need to have in there as well. Like the super snake-ridden Britney
lane.
Spears is it's interesting, but it's not really my lane.
Speaking of Lindsay Lohan, and on this day, October 11th, that's when the little girls in Parent Trap, that's their birthday. They're like, oh, my birthday's October 11th. Oh, my birthday's October 11th.
Today's the day, huh?
Yeah, today's
Okay,
the
I
day.
got one final one. Alan Sliwa, ESPN LA.
LA Live.
LA Live. What is the best thing to bring over when you go to a buddy's house
Yourself.
on a Saturday, let's call it, around the time college football is going on? What is the one thing that you think if somebody walks in,
just a random
somebody walks in, that if they have, you say, that's a great thing to bring?
A snake.
Nothing is the answer. But on your way in, give me a quick call. Shoot me a text. Pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm almost there. Do you need anything? And maybe there's something that I need that I'll ask for.
Like a snake.
But as far as just showing up with a thing, nothing. You do not bring a snake.
She keeps I love the third try, too. She's like, I'm going to bring you guys aren't going to acknowledge it? I'm going to do it again.
No more snakes.
We're good.
He's going to end up saying, so you can stop by Costco. We need wipes. We need I need paper
towels,
towels.
bleach.
There's a mop they have that's really cool.
Swiffer.
It goes,
We got a Swiffer. That Swiffer's money.
Oh, Swiffer's money.
And it gets wet.
Yep.
And
do your thing.
Do you
ready
have the
to
one
go.
that you can wash and then reuse or no? I have one of
No.
those. Okay.
Well, it's the one that has like
Oh,
kind
I
of
have the one that you can wash and
that
reuse.
paper thing that
Yeah,
you
you put it on.
but not the moppy looking one.
Okay.
Yeah.
the one
just a
that
little
the one that you put on, that you actually put on, and then you have to take it off after every one.
The Velcro.
That thing falls off every time.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
going
Nah.
now.
It
I'm
does.
like, what the hell's
I
going on?
do have
That's
one from
good.
Costco. That's it's like not a Swiffer, but it's a mop where you have your pedal and then it like rings it out for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, you know what works great? A real mop. It's
That's
just,
a real mop.
I know, but it's just so messy. Right?
Sure.
Like a mop is gross. You got to stand it up in the corner of your garage and it gets all crusty.
Well, that's
and
why you get
disgusting.
this one because you take off the head. You
I
put
used to
it in the
always,
laundry.
every time I used to you want to go back Kennedy Recreation
Sure.
Center real quick?
Sure.
Well, we had the gym there, the actual floor. So once a week we would, mop the floor, and we would do it the right way. First you had to sweep and everything else. That bucket that we always had, always spilled it. Always water everywhere. Water everywhere.
You know what I do? I put Pine Sol or Fabuloso, and then I do the Swiffer.
Oh yeah,
Fabuloso
A
has
little
that good smell.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a
good.
little bit of
I got
Fabuloso.
purple
That's
Fabuloso.
the one to go. The purple
Yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah.
the right combination.
That's
Just a
right.
little bit goes
Just
a
a little
long
bit.
way too,
Yep.
for sure. All right, we got
Bleach,
a
I
lot of
can't
Dodger
breathe.
fans that have suggestions on what they should get done tonight. How to get it done tonight. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Thursday Night Football has a
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So, this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
I'm trying to think about my podcast and what else would be on it. Food, drinks.
Food is all day.
Backyard.
Tailgating tips.
Parenting advice.
You know what's funny? I don't do a ton of that. Because here's the deal. They're your kids. You deal with it.
What about parenting stories?
Stories, I love to tell stories. But advice, I don't know. I'm incredibly reluctant to offer my advice to somebody else. That is, because here's the dirty little, I don't want anybody else's. You know what I mean? I do not, I'm not here for that. My mom and dad are allowed to offer me advice on that. That's it. Nobody else.
Because they know your kids, too.
Yeah, but there are other people that know my kids. It's like, yeah, I'm good. You can keep that to yourself. I don't need that.
I remember when I was going to have Mike Day, and then you gave me one about, hey, this is something about memories. I forget what it was. Enjoy it because with the kids,
so this isn't. So the one thing that when I was having my oldest, who is now almost 23 years old, name drop coming, John Feinstein, best-selling author of a million different books, said this to me, that being a parent is 1,000 times more difficult than you think it's going to be and 1,000,000 times more enjoyable. And that is the truest thing I've ever heard about it. That you think it's one thing, it's not. It's so much more difficult than you could ever imagine, but it's also
so much better than you could ever,
you could ever think of times 1,000,000. That's it. That's the only
stuck
thing.
with me.
And it goes really
I remember
fast.
it now.
Here's one more. The days are long, the years are short when it comes to kids. Getting through the days, it can't
takes forever.
It can't only be 1 o'clock today.
You're like,
it can't be.
Here's their 5th
Where's
birthday.
her second nap?
Why is she 24? That's what happens. Those two things are true too. All right, let's take some of these phone calls. Dodgers obviously tonight in Phoenix against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Literal must win. They are down 2-0. They have not played well in either of those first 2 games. Arizona has been really good. What do you do to change it up? Let's start with Daniel. Daniel, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's going on, Daniel?
Hi there. Hello.
Hello.
I would. So what I've noticed is that when the two were hot in August, and apparently they pulled down in October, Mookie and Freddie, they think they have the same synergy together. So when one hits well, the other hits well, and they go at it, and they're really close together. So when one doesn't hit well, the other goes ice cold also. I would have them break up and not be together directly in the lineup. I would say move one of the two players up or down, especially in kind of critical situations where you have you have runners in scoring position. You need to get that small ball going. And especially with Arizona, I would say they would have that 3-batter minimum rule, because if you get Mookie or Freddie first, they would have immediate momentum to then get the other of the two. And because the synergy of the two goes in function, if one has a bad outing, the other's going to immediately go. I would just split them up and maybe go, instead of Mookie and Freddie, go 1-2, maybe 1-3 or 1-4 or 2-3.
You could maybe
2-5,
spread them
like
apart
that.
a little bit, Daniel. I appreciate the phone call. But the reason that one kind of feeds off the other is because if Mookie gets on base, now I have to kind of pitch to Freddie, right? I can't put 2 guys on with Martinez or Smith or Muncy coming up to bat. So you get slightly better pitches that are more in the zone along the way. You might be able to put somebody in between them, but that's the most that I would do. They do feed off of one another.
Yeah, I think you said 1-3 or 2-4, something like that.
That's fine. But what you could do, if we're shuffling lineups, is shuffle the back 2/3 of it. Like if you want to put J.D. Martinez in 6 and move Max Muncy up to 4, something like that, I think you could kind of mess around with that a little bit. But then you're just throwing stuff at the wall, right? Do
you think you see anything because it's an elimination game and
Kike
because
plays tonight? I think Kike's in the lineup tonight. I think that, maybe you don't get Hayward, maybe you don't get Peralta, but I think the rest of it is roughly the same.
Because what you said about you just throwing things against the wall.
Hey, now's the time to do it.
I was just going to say, if there's a time where you say, all right, well, I was thinking about doing this, I might as well do it now.
Mickey in Encino. Mickey, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. I wouldn't change a thing. You won 100 games. All you have to do is hit the curveball a little better, drive the ball, score some runs. Look, you can play a team that has only won 56 games, and you go out there, and for 4 games, those guys are perfect. and they beat you. This is what's happening. Arizona's playing great. What can you do? The pitchers are throwing strikes, and the curveballs that you're swinging at out of the strike zone, that's up to you. You got to go out and score some runs and take the pressure off yourself because it's very hard. I mean, they're at a point where they got a whole city looking at them. And, you know, you go 100 games, you win the whole thing, and then you lose an edge. You ever watch pitchers get two outs right away, and then all of a sudden they can't find the plate? They lose their edge. The third out is the toughest out. The playoffs is the toughest time you're going to play.
All right, Mickey, let me jump in there real quick. If this were the regular season, if this were, you know, at any point other than you're down 2-0 in an elimination game, I think to just let it ride of course, it's the right thing to do. They've been they let it ride last year. Faceplant. They let it ride through the first 2 games of this series. Faceplant. I do think, I'm not saying all of a sudden you bat Mookie Betts 7th or anything crazy like that, but there is a little, look, man, I'm going to shuffle the deck a little bit just to see if we can't create that energy, that momentum that we've been talking about, because hit the curveball. Well, sure, I get that, but I mean, Mickey, listen to you talk, I can tell that you watch a lot of baseball. This stuff just kind of ebbs and flows, and right now the Dodgers are in a serious ebb, and the question is, how do you get it flowing immediately? And I don't even know if there is an answer to that question.
We start licking the bats and shocking them like Quig used to do it because, dang, we need something.
Well, like we talked about with Kevin Millar with the Red Sox back in the day where they started doing shots of whiskey in the dugout. I'm not saying get wasted, but change the energy, change the mojo, something.
Do you know what's unfortunate about that? I don't think the Dodgers – I don't think anything is going to change. The energy that you're talking about, do you think they're going to do something different? Do you think there's somebody in that clubhouse that's saying, yeah, I'm going to freaking mix it up here? Maybe there is somebody. But it seems like the personalities, the guys that they have on the team, the guys that they have on the roster, no, we're just going to go out there. Things can change at any time. I don't see a Millar or something like that, a predicament where somebody's coming in saying, I'm shaking it up.
I'm going to change this up a little bit because I think what's missing, I mentioned this yesterday, that I don't think you go and say, oh, this guy hit 380 in the playoffs last year. Let's go get him. I don't. That's just that guy got hot at the right time. But what I do think is missing is a very fiery personality in this on the team. Somebody that is a Kirk Gibson type. Somebody that is a Bryce Harper type. Somebody that is not afraid to get in a teammate's face. That's not afraid to insist on maximum concentration and effort and all of these things. That just makes everybody just a little uncomfortable when they're around. I like that guy, but I'm not quite sure what he's going to do next. I think that's missing. Here's where I think it breaks down. And we can talk about this with the callers, and we can talk about this on the other side as well. But here's my problem. Andrew Friedman is analytically inclined to a degree that I think we all understand. And I truly believe that he believes that this is the best way to build a team. This is the best way to construct a roster. This is the best lineup, right? Basically, analytics lineups is easy. Who's your best hitter? He bats first. Who's number 2? He bats second. Those guys get more at-bats over the season. Better hitters get more at-bats, right? And you can't convince him that doing it other than the best way, I've done the math. I know this is the best way. You can't convince him that changing it just to change it, this goes to Dave, this goes to lineup, this goes to all these other things, just because to change the mojo, the energy. Why would I not put my best foot forward? This is my best foot. This is what I'm going to do. And this is why we are where we are, where I get it. It works right up until it doesn't. Yeah. Now what?
Here's the problem. Here's the one issue I've always had with the Dodgers and the analytics. There's a feel to the game, too, that analytics don't have emotion. Analytics don't have a pulse of a certain predicament or situation or a feel. That you can use analytics to a certain extent, but not everybody is a robot. Not everybody. I've said this year, how many times did we do this last year where we said that everything was so robotic? Why even have Dave Roberts there? If everything's coming from up top and this is how they do it, and these predicaments these equations have already been worked out, the fact that there's no room here to say, okay, I get what the equation says, but
where would you have liked to have seen them exercise a different decision in these first couple of games?
Well, I think it just comes to what you were just saying, that you were saying that you're talking about Andrew Friedman specifically. You're talking about the way the team was put together, and you're talking about how, why would I do it differently? This is what the stats say. Life is not stats.
No, I agree.
These are not robots. They are human beings.
I think that this is where it gets...
Could I just say something?
Yeah, sure.
There's a player that you mentioned that you think is missing for the Dodgers. What if the stats don't say that player is supposed to be there?
And that I think is in the roster construction, not necessarily in the game management. That the roster construction of I need a guy that's a little but
stats don't tell you that.
No,
that's my point.
You're right about that. But what I'm talking about the roster construction is all right. I'm going to use 24 of my 25 spots on who I think the 24 best guys. But I'm also going to get that might not have been the 25th best guy. But maybe he's the 42nd best guy. But he's also a lunatic. I'm going to put that guy in the dugout to bring that little edge, that little wild card, that little bit of uncomfortability that I think is important to, I don't know what this is going to be.
But how do you do that? How do you do that?
Now?
No,
you can't do it now.
No. How do you do that when everything is an equation? How do you do that? That there might be another team, another franchise that sees the benefit of having the player that you're describing, but the Dodgers are saying to themselves, but that doesn't fit our equation.
No, I get that. You have to throw the equation out to a point.
They haven't deviated from the equation. That's my if there's one issue that you could say with the Dodgers, you can say that it's so robotic that the stats are they're so dependent on that. And then they have these reports that will tell you, but look how much success that we're having based on this way, that it's almost like it never deviates. There's no pulse to say, when do we deviate from the plan a little bit?
I agree with you on that. But the guy that put the plan in place is not going to wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to go to the new plan. Because the plan, more often than not, has been successful. Should it be slightly different? I'm not saying you hit the detonator and blow it up. But if I got 25 spots on my team, I'm going to pick the 23 guys that I think fit the best. But for these other two spots, maybe I'll get a little more. Maybe I'll take on a little bit of bad money because it gives me a better chance now as opposed to a better chance over the next 2 or 3 years. I think these are the questions.
Do you think they would do that?
They haven't so far.
I was going to say,
and they've been here a long time.
And it doesn't give me any confidence that they would do that.
They haven't so far.
I agree with that. I think that's more of a, yes, we follow a plan, but we also use our gut a little bit.
Sometimes you got to just go with something that doesn't make perfect sense, that might be a little different. And we'll see if it's going to happen. It would happen, I think, but we'll see. Hopefully we can learn. All right. 3 years ago today, believe it or not, something very big happened right here in this city. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
You never have to miss a moment
We should be focusing on slightly more positive things.
This is burning spirit. This is very positive.
This puts me in a good mood.
Yes.
This is good. But
puts me in a great mood.
Let's talk about let's put the Dodgers
state of mind.
Take a deep breath, relax. Everybody kind of get back on the same page. All you got to do is win tonight. Thank you. Let's just win tonight, and then we'll worry about how you'd fix the formula later.
And if hypothetically doesn't work out, there's also this music
if it doesn't work out,
goes with something else.
And there's a cheeseburger and a Coke and French fries.
I'm telling you right now, it's not just a cheeseburger.
Bacon avocado.
Depends on if it's In and Out, it's a double animal style with chopped chilies. That's more than enough.
Right? Yeah, but haven't you said that you do
that sounds like a whole.
It is. It's a big burger. But
haven't you also said that sometimes there's just, what do you call it? The road.
The little safety net. The little road.
Road
fries.
I think you're going to have road stuff.
Maybe.
This you might even do a milkshake. I could see you even going big on a milkshake.
We'll do a salad from Sweet Green.
A milkshake is a very specific, like In and Out. It's got great milkshakes. Yeah, you know why? Here, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret.
Yeah, this
you
is
know
crazy.
why In and Out
crazy
milkshakes are better than everyone else's?
Right.
Because they're made with ice cream.
Right. No, they're made with real dairy products.
It's made with ice cream and milk.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
That's crazy.
It doesn't come out of a box. It's ice cream and
strawberry
milk.
is.
Neapolitan, a little bit of everything. What do you got in there? We got chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. How about a little of all three?
Okay,
why not?
Can you do a burger and a full shake and a full fries? I can't do all three.
It's a lot. Something's got to go. I mean, I have. Don't get me wrong. I've
you know what I'm okay with getting rid of. It's kind of a tough decision there, but I could do I'd rather do a double and a shake.
Than a fries?
Yeah.
You're not wrong, but I can't get a burger and not have fries next to it. I feel like I'm upholding
the thing is because she got the fries, so I'm just eating some of her
you're
fries.
Not doing that. Like, if there are no fries, I challenge you on that one.
That's a tough challenge.
Fewer fries is probably the way to do it. But
you know what I've done? So I'll go swim sometimes on Saturday mornings, and it's in Culver City, and then I'll go to the Window. And I'll get a cheeseburger.
This is an In-N-Out?
Yeah. No. The Window
I think
is
that's a place in...
restaurant.
Yeah. My bad. Yes.
So I'll go to the Window, and I'll get a cheeseburger. Sometimes I'll get like the double cheeseburger, and then I'll get a kale salad. So you got to have balance in life. And it's actually pretty good.
I'm disappointed in myself both ways. You know what I mean? Like, I either want to just bleep it, give me the double cheeseburger, the fries, and the Coke, or, you know what? I'm going to make a good choice today and have the salad.
I call it a protein. You have to have protein with it. There's no protein in the kale salad.
So when that bag comes to the window, who's the first one that reaches in for the fries? You or your wife?
Oh, Susan doesn't eat that stuff.
Yeah, well, she does CrossFit.
She full stop does not eat fast food. She just does not eat it.
Yeah,
so
Brenda and I have the fight for it.
If the kids are in the car, all three hands go in at the same point.
Well,
Susan doesn't eat that stuff.
Our problem is we're not going very far. Like, I'm not taking it home.
Yeah.
We're pulling over to the side. There's plenty of parking there, and I'm going to sit and eat my food while it's hot and fresh.
It's good. Sprinkle that salt.
Good
on
way
there,
to do it.
Anyway, I'm losing track of my.
You know how those sodas have those buttons in the top?
Yeah.
Sprite, Cola, whatever.
Yeah.
So one time, one of my buddies used to work at McDonald's, and I had somebody in the car with me. He's like, "Hey man, can I get a Diet Coke?" He's like, "Yeah, give me that one back." He pushed the button that says Diet. He's like, "There you go, bro. It's Diet now." Diet Coke activated.
Activated. Yeah, I like that. I'm doing that next time. All right. 3 years ago today.
That's crazy.
The Lakers beat the Miami Heat in the bubble to win the NBA championship. That both feels like 3 years ago and 30 years ago. Like, that feels like a lifetime ago. It's only 3 seasons ago.
You know what's so crazy about that? The thing I think about the most when I look back at it is it's Anthony Davis's first year.
Right.
Forget COVID for a second. Forget the bubble. Forget all that stuff that they were playing. If you shot the ball too much arc, you're hitting the chandelier inside of the ballroom. Okay? Forget all that. But what's crazy is date-wise is crazy because it's in October, and here's the Lakers about to play their third preseason game. 3 years ago, they were winning a championship, but put that to the side. What's crazy to me is that when they won that championship in 2020, it was Anthony Davis's first year with the Lakers. Are you not saying to yourself, I mean, what's this squad going to look like over the next 3-4 years?
Yeah.
How many times are you going to punch your ticket to get back to the NBA Finals? Are the Lakers are they going to win 2 or 3? Lakers usually get it in chunks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about the Lakers back in the 80s. It was in chunks. Shaq and Kobe, 3 in a row. Powell and Kobe, 3 finals trips in a row, 2 NBA championships. It's like they're right back.
Right.
And here they are. They won that one championship, and they are, think of if you want to think of cryptocurrency, whatever. Think of a stock where it's just all over the place. That's been the Lakers since they won that championship. There has not been this steady diet of the Lakers are in it every single year.
And it felt like it was about to be. It felt like because you were 1 for 1 with Anthony Davis, right? He showed up, you won the title, and you won the title because he was great. It wasn't like he was there and he was in and out. It's like, wow, they got exactly what they were looking for. They got a guy, it fit the model perfectly, which was that's a great player buried on a bad team.
Sure.
Put him with other good players.
With LeBron.
With LeBron James and give him the support that he needs. And that guy goes from being a good player to a transcendent, one of the best players in the league. And that's what happened in 1 year. Boom, done.
Remember ESPN came out with their rankings after the season?
Yeah.
1 and 2.
And since then, it hasn't been that at all. It's been all over the map. It's been he hasn't played, or he hasn't played particularly well, or the roster surrounding them wasn't very good.
Or the roster just kept getting changed.
The turnover was insane. And so when you look at it over the last 3 years, it's a mixed bag of I can't believe how badly that didn't work. And I
can't believe they got to the Western Conference Finals.
It's all over the map. It felt like you were saying that, okay, here comes the next pocket, and it hasn't been. It's like you're saying, like it's a mountain range, very sharp peaks on this mountain range between championship, Western Conference Finals, and missing the playoffs or being a quick out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That there has been no sustained level of high play, but there's been a couple of peaks that are crazy. And I don't think anybody thought that was the future after they punched their ticket in the bubble.
You said something interesting. We were prepping and we were chatting, and it was, this whole time you look at Rob Pelinka, and I don't know if at this point how you feel about Pelinka over the years as well, but at this point it seems like this is the most that Rob Pelinka is. I'm driving this thing.
Yeah.
I got if before Rob Pelinka, he had part of his hand on the steering wheel because there are other people on the steering wheel as well. Who the hell is driving this thing? That was one of the main things that you'd always talk about.
Well, it wasn't that they had their hands on the wheel. It's that everyone had a map in the passenger seat, in the back seat, everyone else saying, go, no, left, right, no, turn around. You're going the wrong way. Stop. Mm-hmm. No, you're on the wrong freeway. And now it's just like, guys, I got this. We're going to go over there. I know how to get over there. Thank you for all of your time and service, but I'm not really going to do that. I'm going to go over here. When he's the decision maker and there's not a cacophony of co-decision input, sure. What do you think? Okay, cool. What do you think? Okay, cool. What do you think? Okay, cool. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go make a decision.
The final say.
I'm going to go make a decision. But not, all right, well, you get to make this one. Okay, that didn't work. You make that one. And that's what it felt like was happening. There were way too many voices that had real input. And now it's him making the decision based on what he feels is best for the team. And I don't think it's arguable that this is the better way to do it.
And I think he would probably tell you as well that there's a lot that he's learned over the last 4 years where he can say to himself, let's look at this offseason compared to any of those other offseasons. The only difference is he brought a lot of the same guys back. That's not that was not applied to the Lakers in the past. Applied to the Lakers with Bron and since really LeBron's been here, it's maybe sometimes you outsmart yourself and you say, all right, after you win the championship, you know what? I'm going to go get a better center in Marc Gasol. I'm going to go out. I'm going to get Montrezl Harrell. Now, Anthony Davis got injured, so who knows how good that team would have been. You know what? We're going to go get a third star in Russell Westbrook. And I think this year it was much less flashy. It was much more, I like these pieces. I think they make sense. The contracts are flexible. We'll take our chances.
The other part, too, that didn't happen when they won that championship, and if you're on the 1 yard line, right, you're literally right there. That's like, all right, Anthony Davis, go be our best player and have it be crystal clear that you're the best player. Part of it is that LeBron continued to play at a crazy high level.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought that.
So he didn't, the decline has been subtle. It hasn't been significant. But it also is Anthony Davis had all sorts of health problems. And
availability.
And his offensive game, his defensive game has been lights out, but his offensive game is hit and miss. Sometimes it's transcendent, 40 points. Sometimes it's 12
15 points.
Yeah, it's so But it did feel like, hey, we're getting the best two-way guy in the league who's really starting to become not just a good player, but a great player, a foundational player, where right now Anthony Davis is still maybe the second best player in the league. But as far as being the best player and the main piece, that hasn't happened yet. Maybe it happens this year, but it hasn't. It felt like we were so close, and we've gone through a few seasons since then, and it hasn't happened yet.
Also, something about the bubble. I talked to you about it at the Dodger game. I was listening to something Damian Lillard said in a podcast before the trade went down and everything. They asked him about playing in the bubble and how the Lakers. He doesn't agree when people say the Lakers got it easy in the bubble, and he gave his point to something to the something. He said something like. It wasn't easy because you have people like LeBron and AD working out all day, every day in the hotel next to you. You're not flying, so you're not, you don't have that factor where like, oh, I got to fly in, I got to fly out the next night. You don't have that in the bubble.
There's no advantage.
Exactly. So every team is working out all day, every day. You have nothing else to do but to work out. So you're facing these players at the peak of their
almost like pure basketball.
Exactly. So it's just
all of the variables, or as many variables as could be removed, were removed.
They were.
The only thing I'll say about the bubble that I think they almost got through a full season. So it wasn't. I think they ended up playing 70-plus games, something like that. It was different than like the baseball thing is a completely
but you don't leave out the
different
most important part.
The travel?
No.
The home court?
No. They didn't play for 3 months.
They did not.
They shut it down. They had basically an entire off season to get ready for just the playoffs and get healthy. That if you rolled,
that's advantageous to the Lakers. No question about it.
It's more advantageous to them than it was to anybody else, simply because LeBron has been around the block so many times.
And you had Rondo. You had Dwight Howard. You had older JaVale McGee. You had an older roster.
Now we know with AD too. We have what AD is.
Absolutely. AD benefits from rest as much as anybody else. That if they had just rolled straight, let's say the pandemic happens, but they go straight to the bubble. They never shut it down.
Okay.
It's like, okay, bubble, pandemic happening, cool. Good job, Gobert, on spreading it through the league. And let's go to Orlando today. We're going to start the bubble today. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's not. But getting 3 months to just kind of let your body relax and rest was incredibly advantageous to them.
To them specific. Yeah, I see that. I get that.
Right. So it made me think, too, when we talked about this, 2020, this being the date, too.
About the snake thing?
That stinks.
No.
I have Reputation Taylor's version on my mind. But anyway. But what team in LA has had the best 5 years? Is it the Rams? Is it the Lakers? Is it the Dodgers? They've all won championships. 2 of them have won championships in a pandemic. But what do you think is the best? Maybe we can answer this at 11:45. Because I think it's interesting because they all have a case to be made.
I'm going to make a case for all 3 of them. I think I know the answer, but a case can be made for all 3. I think I got my answer. Factor Cap is coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Big news. NextGen is the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best around, the best in the biz, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. And here's not an online review. Here's my review. I've had the guys from NextGen out in my house. They gave me a full review of my entire system. They were professional. They were on it. They were so good. You got to find out for yourself. And right now, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and a tune-up for just $88. That's right, only $88 to ensure your system stays running strong all season long, and they'll even throw in a free air filter at no charge. And if they got a slow drain in the house, we've all probably got one of those, right? How about a drain cleaning with a camera inspection? Also just $88. Call 833-3NEXTGEN. That's 833-3NEXGEN and say goodbye to your AC, heating, or plumbing problems. That's 833-3NEXTGEN, 833-3NEXGEN, or visit nextgenaronplumbing.com to schedule online.
The OGs.
Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys.
Hi,
All right,
Em.
so who do you think's going to bring the snake on Saturday? Because someone has to.
You and the snake. Jeez.
I just want Travis to have a snake at his house. Or maybe one of us is a snake.
Maybe.
Hey, maybe the snake is ourselves.
Maybe.
If I call Trav and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. Anything I can bring? He's
What's
like,
up,
yeah,
fool?
a lizard.
Boa constrictor.
Yeah, go get something.
A mice for the snake deed. Anyway, so there is a premiere happening tonight for a certain pop star for her concert movie premiere, but it's also happening at the Grove. And I think I can tell that Taylor does not spend much time in LA because she would know the Grove is the worst place to have anything happen at all because I hate the Grove and it's the worst. But I was not invited to this premiere.
No?
Even though I am a top listener, but it's fine.
You've fallen off.
Do you
on
take
the-
that personally?
I do take it personally.
You didn't do enough of those puzzles. That's
And
why
I
she
took
didn't.
that
Exactly, that's
Yep,
why.
that's right.
But
Take your foot off the gas.
that being said, you would want to go to a movie premiere. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. Yeah, I think that would be fun. It's something I've never experienced.
And I'm
anything
saying
like
as
that.
as an invitee, not as work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be super fun because it's a world I know nothing about, really. It's something that, quite frankly, I don't have a ton of interest in, so I don't care who I meet or who I don't meet, and all trying to make connections is not in that world. That's not important to me. But to be around it for a night and get all the fancy stuff that comes along with it, I think that'd be a blast.
Al?
Fact, I'm into. What I don't need is if it's not like a invite and it's this and it's a really busy opening weekend for a movie, I could wait. I don't want to go all that people. But something like that, it's kind of a special event. It's different. Let's take
I
our
like
shot on
having
that.
access
I
to
gotta like the
things.
movie too. Like
Yeah,
it's gotta
I don't
be.
even care about that.
I need to
It's
be interested in the movie.
that's coming out in a week.
You could show, the cocktail.
So
from
so
the
you
80s.
got you're going to
Paw
Taylor
Patrol.
Swift tonight at the Grove?
Paw Patrol.
Would you go tonight?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But only if I'm invited with like access to the cool stuff. I don't want to go to be some weirdo watching
In the
everyone
stands
else
and
walk
stuff,
by.
yeah.
But to be the guy that's inside the ropes that gets access to the stuff, absolutely.
Like the party afterwards.
Yeah,
That's the
for
fun
sure.
stuff. All right, Jorge?
Yeah, I've worked a few of these like red carpet thingies, but as an attendee, I haven't, and they look fun.
They do.
I'm telling you, when people walk by and they're so chill, they're excited about this movie. Everybody's just on that mode, like, hey, let's just have fun tonight. I would love to attend one of those
For sure.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? Sunday swagger? What would you be wearing?
Kirkland.
Yeah, honestly. Gotta be honest.
Kirkland swagger.
All right, so I went to a concert yesterday at the Wiltern, and it was great. I had a great time. I went by myself, but I got there kind of like 10 minutes before the opener went on. But the Wiltern kind of is all GA seating, all general admission, so you got to find your own place. And so there's kind of two barriers. So there's a barrier in the front that usually fills up really quickly, and then the second barrier in the back, and then there's also a third one behind. So I got to the second barrier, and I was the second row of the second barrier, and there were two older couples in front of me, and it was, they looked like they were having a fine time, but not the best time.
Was there heavy petting?
No, there was no heavy petting.
Older being
older than my parents, so like mid to late 60s.
Okay.
So anyway, the opener is someone who's like on TikTok. She's not someone that they would know, but they did not clap at all. They did not look like they were having a good time. And even when the performer came on that they came to see, no clapping, nothing. So it got me thinking. A performance has to earn your clap. You don't just clap because the song's over, because it's kind. Al, Factor Cap.
Cap, but let me give a little bit of a context to this. So I'm gonna give that wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but let's give them a little bit of love because I don't want them to feel bad when they go home.
Yeah.
However, if it's a really good performance, they're gonna know that I was into it. I was excited. That I'm giving them more than I would give. So I think there's levels to it. Yes, I'm trying to be nice, but at the same time, if it's a performance I really like, they're gonna know about it.
But just to sit there and just be like, I just
I know.
don't understand it. Trav?
I'm more like Al, but I'm not going to even give you like the courtesy. It may be like just really
one.
like
yeah.
And this girl was not bad. She was
so
belting
you're
out.
doing it to where they know you like it,
right? Like it's not even. Maybe they kind of just were like, no, you have to earn it. right? Like it feels like
you have
that's
to earn a
something you
standing
have-
ovation. I
Yeah.
hate when at the end of any performance, everyone
Yeah.
gives a standing ovation. It's like, no, that needs to be earned.
The best part is like a concert. I haven't seen a ton of what you're describing, but if you go to a comedy show and you have somebody that bombs, that's tremendous because a laugh is pretty organic, right?
Yeah, and you have to earn it.
If somebody says something funny, you laugh.
Yeah.
If somebody says something that is not, it takes a minute to process the courtesy laugh. And the crickets that come along with a bombed comedy set are delicious. I absolutely love it.
And then some comedians start picking at the audience because nobody's laughing.
Yeah.
So he starts finding a different way to make you laugh.
It's great energy. It's awkward, but it's fun.
You should give a standing O when somebody bombs.
No, I clap just because it's already hard enough to stand on the stage and perform in front of hundreds of people. I mean, I don't do a standing ovation, but I give them a
You
clap.
clap for the effort.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know what their deal was, and then also just don't
But-
be at the barrier too.
Can I offer a slight pushback
Sure.
on what you're saying, Jorge? I'm with you if you're at a local restaurant and they got a guy in the corner playing a guitar and he's doing the best he can. He deserves a little bit of this. If I paid to see you and you suck, you don't get the clap.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't pay to see her. I paid to see the person after her.
Yeah.
But I still, I personally enjoyed her performance. I thought she was great. I just couldn't get these people. And again, even the people that they paid to see, they did.
I think what we've realized here is Trav's booing unless it's the greatest
Quite
performance.
honestly, silence is more offensive than a boo. At least you were listening enough to hate what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, silence is brutal.
Silence means you're so uninteresting to me, I stopped listening a long time ago.
So it also got me thinking about a conversation
I'm on a
that
Zoom call for work.
that Taylor has had with me in the past. Taylor Smith, our old board up before Jorge was with us, and he's a very tall guy. And he loves to go to concerts, and oftentimes he sometimes will get asked by someone behind him if they could switch places because he's so tall, the person behind them can't see. And I kind of take issue with that because if you wanted to be in front of the tall guy, maybe get there before the tall guy gets there. So if someone asked you to move because they couldn't see behind you, you would move. Alan, Fat or Cap?
Well, I don't have that issue. So, but here's
theoretically,
Hey, bro, you want to sit on my shoulders?
here's the only thing that I will say that what is okay. So let's say Taylor, as an example, moves because somebody's behind him and they can't see.
He's 6'5".
Okay, what about the next person behind
Yeah, you're
him
going to
now?
mess up someone's viewpoint.
The guy's going to end up in
the
the
back row.
last row
Yeah.
in front of a pillar. So I think, look, you try to accommodate. I think with anything, right? Like I think with anything you try to accommodate, you try to be nice. But I think there's certain things, certain events, I can't help you here.
Trev?
Depends on how you ask me. Honestly, if you ask me, like, look, I'm so sorry, but my kid can't see or my wife, would
Sure.
you mind switching? Sure.
Like move to the right a little bit or something.
Yeah. I will do everything I can to try to help you out in that situation. But if it's, I can't see anything.
Hey, tall guy.
Yeah, no.
Well, actually, that's
no.
a sporting
I'm not
event.
moving.
Sporting
Yeah.
event. You know how sometimes there's sections that there might be two people standing and nobody else. You're at a baseball game.
Right.
It's not the time to stand.
Yeah.
Like, why are you standing? Nobody's standing. In certain situations like that, you got to be respectful of the people behind you.
Tone is everything. Ask nicely and you'll get pretty much whatever you want.
Jorge?
So, a couple of weeks ago, we're at Disneyland, and we got dinner. There's like a chicken place across from the Rockets at Tomorrowland. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
there's like a chicken kitchen there. So we got a good seat, so we can sit there, and then as the fireworks are going to start to
There you
happen,
go.
we're eating dinner, right? So then at some point, I stand up, and then Brenda's like, hey, sit down. I'm like, why? There's kids behind you. I was like, well, they should have sat here then. I'm trying to have my kid watch the fireworks too. You know what I mean? Like, sorry. They didn't ask me, so why the hell are you asking me for them? Leave me alone. So I
You'd
wouldn't
sit down.
Yeah, I was going to say, we also learned Jorge will not help another kid out. He
No,
wants.
but when Messi was here, we have access. Well,
You'd ask everybody to sit down.
No, there's a bar. Oh, for sure. But there's a bar. There's a bar that when the players come out of the locker room, you get to see the players come out of Messi. There was a couple kids behind me, and I have the camera, and I can always raise my camera.
Yeah.
And I was moving. I told some of the guys, I was like, hey, listen, there's a couple kids here who wants to see Messi. Like, can we just move? And, yeah, we all moved, put the kids in the front row, and I still got my shot.
Everybody will move for a kid.
Yeah.
A whiny adult, not so much.
Yeah.
Very true.
I can't see anything.
Hey, yeah, no, the
whiny adult.
Your problem.
No.
Yes,
Your
get
problem.
there earlier. Be at the barricade.
Your dad should have been taller. It's not my problem.
All right, I got one more quick one for you guys. So Washington is going to be the host for College Game Day this weekend on ESPN, and I don't know if it's the only time that they've hosted. I think they've hosted before. They're not one of those lists of the few people, but there was an article came out that was trying to predict who that guest picker might be, and I think I would pick Rainn Wilson. I think he'd be really funny.
Is he an alum?
I know he's from the Seattle area. I think he's an alum, and I know that he is a funny guy, and he'd be a funny pick, like Ken Jeong, who was a Duke alum. Okay, if you don't think he's funny, some people think he's funny. I liked him as the guest picker. So you've made it when you're the celebrity guest picker on College Game Day. Alan, since Travis is yawning, I'm going to go to you first.
I can't process that there's a person that finds him entertaining. I'll try to get back in this. Go ahead.
If you get that far, I'll go fact on this. Let me give you a good example because I think the NBA does a good job. Sometimes inside the NBA, we'll do some stuff. They'll have Kevin Hart come on. They'll have think of just guests that they'll bring on. Game Day's a good example as well. If you're on that type of platform and you get a chance to comment on one of the more popular events, I think you've made it. Definitely made it.
It's it's fact. It's an incredibly prestigious thing to do because they're only picking one person, and if you're the person that represents that area or that school in particular, that's a big deal. You have to have done something with
What about
your
if
life.
it's basketball and they go to the Gauchos?
Who would I want it to be?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not. No. It would have to be like a Gabe Vincent. It would have to be a Brian Shaw. It would have to be, or one of the former, Jerry Pym, the former coach. It'd have to be something like that, right? But yeah, it's an incredibly big deal.
Okay. Well, that's it for Factor Cap, but I did ask a question at the end of the last segment where I asked you who has had the best 4 or 5 years in LA. Is it the Rams? Is it the Dodgers? Is it the Lakers? Because everyone has a case.
I think I thought about it, and I think it's obvious, I think. We'll do it next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Speaking of the best, speaking of the one that you want to put out front and make sure that they get all the run, that's Sweet James, right? Because think about it like this. You've got the league, right? And then you've got the MVPs and the All-Stars. And that's what Sweet James is. You're talking a megastar of the attorneys, high skills, high results. This is why they've been voted best attorneys in America. This is why they continue to win case after case after case. 98% of the cases that they have that go to trial end up with a Sweet James win. Why would you call anybody else? Why would you just pick somebody that's in the game as opposed to the guy that's the best at the game? Multiple attorneys looking at every case, all sorts of expertise. Call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. Get the justice that you deserve. Get the settlement that you deserve. This is one of the biggest phone calls that you will make after an accident in your entire life. So make sure that you make the right call. Call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
Elevate your game.
near miss coming back from the men's room there. So you know the blind corner.
What kind of miss?
Well, there was a woman carrying a giant box with a pink box. I'm assuming a cake, right?
Donuts.
That we nearly ran into each other.
Oofy.
And she did the whoa and kind of spun out, and the cake was teetering for half a second. But she recovered.
That's why you got to say corner.
She was an athlete. She recovered quickly.
Can I give you some advice on that corner? Because you had something else happen not too long ago dealing with the corner situation.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Definitely. No, it was his fault.
It was natural.
It's natural, but there's certain.
It couldn't happen in there, so it just
happened.
Should have happened. Yeah.
Well, look, sometimes it's not up to you.
Exactly.
So you got to treat that corner like you're on the 110 freeway. Okay.
405 rather.
I need you on the right-hand side. You got to go. Use it as if you're. You see what I'm saying?
Fair. Yeah, you're right.
So if you go on the right,
I take the turn tight.
You take it real tight. You're NASCAR out there, but if you get in the right-hand lane,
I'm on the wrong side of the road. You're right.
You're on the wrong side. So I think if you go right-hand lane, now all of a sudden you're turning corner, and it's like, wow, I get to see everything.
Can I offer a counterpoint why it's not my fault?
Yes.
Shouldn't the person that also is making the turn be out wide in case somebody is coming on the inside?
No.
I know they're on the wrong side, but at least it gives them a little room to see somebody coming.
I'm going to tell you why.
Because if we both go wide, we won't run into each other.
Well, this is why they have the right of way.
They do.
Because they're closer. You see what I'm saying? That
no,
on the right side of the wall, that's their lane.
I may have been wrong. Yeah, exactly. Right, that's enough. We should delete that one by now. I don't like that one. Because unfortunately, we're going to have been wrong. This one before too long. Super fun season. That one's probably, a day away, give or take? All right.
What happened? Last season was great.
5 years for some of us. What was the question, Em? 5 years, Lakers, Dodgers, Rams, who's had the better 5-year window?
I was thinking back because obviously today was the day when Lakers won their 2020 title. So it was 3 years ago today. And so I was thinking about who has had the best 5 years of the LA team. So is it Lakers, Rams, or Dodgers? Because they've all won a championship. They've all had years that have been terrible. And they've all had great years that have been in between.
Can I go addition by subtraction? I'm going to eliminate. Look, this is just my viewpoint on it. When I think of the Dodgers over the last 5 years, I think of much more disappointment than I do of.
Hard to argue otherwise.
So I'd eliminate the Dodgers first in that group without getting into too much details. And then after that, I think what the Rams were able to accomplish coming to L.A., you're in the mix pretty much every single year, and you actually cashed in and won a Super Bowl. I think what they were able to accomplish of the three teams was the most difficult, and they've been the most consistent
but they've
with
also
cashing
had
it in.
The worst defense of a Super Bowl in NFL history.
It's okay.
I think
that's okay.
Yeah, I don't think that factors into it. Here's okay. I'm going to make a case for why it's not the Dodgers first, because the Dodgers are by far the most consistent of these three teams. It's not even close. But the weight of the expectations that comes along with that consistency, I agree with you. That when you think of the last 5 years, it's, oh man, that wasn't good enough.
They did it again,
right? So you're right, but they're clearly the most consistent of the group. The Lakers have a title. It's not less than, but it's very different because of the bubble. But they've had peaks and valleys all over the place, right? The Rams in this 5-year window have the one championship that was played under normal circumstances, a full season in front of fans, everything else, and they got
no
it
bubble,
done.
No nothing.
They beat their arch nemesis in the process. They took out the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. That, to me, is of all of those titles that we're talking about, each team has one, that one's the most difficult to obtain because it was obtained under the most normal circumstances. Mm-hmm. Problem is, the Rams have 2 seasons in there that are legitimately bad. Well, one's legitimately bad, and one was a missed playoffs. I think it's the Rams because of their title is more traditional than the other two. But last year's team was really awful, and there was another year where they missed the playoffs entirely. So they've had a couple of Super Bowls in there, 1 win, 1 miss, and 1 terrible season, and 1 mediocre season. They're kind of all over the map too.
And the Lakers have had 2 missed playoffs in that time?
They missed 1 playoffs, and then they got eliminated in the first round. If we're looking at, if you want to go back to LeBron's first year, then yes, 2 missed playoffs.
And they have a Western Conference Finals appearance and got swept. And then you have a year they won NBA championship.
Can I actually? You know what? Probably is a great question from here. Who do you feel most confident in the next 5 years?
4 letters for you. LAFC. 5 years here, expansion team.
Yeah.
Gets one. Basically takes over the city. We used to talk about the Galaxy. We don't really.
No, you don't talk about the Galaxy
they're
anymore.
Carson now. We call them Carson. So LAFC got one too. In the last 5 years.
That all 4 of these teams that we're talking about have won championships in the last 5 years is extraordinary. It's an incredible run.
We're very lucky.
That's happened here because no matter what sport you like, a team in that sport because the Kings haven't won in the last 5 years.
They have not.
So other than hockey and I guess college football, but SC's been close. At least they were close last year.
I don't think LA will fully ever understand how privileged LA is. Because what you just said that's not normal.
And you got 2 of everything. So you get 2 shots at everything.
And you get to pick and choose. And you could say, here's a team representing this city, and I'm okay to hate that team. That just doesn't happen in other cities. The only other city, New York.
So for all the good moves that the Dodgers have made over their last 5-year window, did they make a big mistake that's coming back on them right now? That's coming up next. Plus more of your phone calls, 877-710-ESPN. If you're on hold, stay there. I promise we're going to get to you. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
NextGen is the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the biz and has thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. And right now, you can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up for only $88. That's right, only $88 to ensure your system stays running strong all year long. And they'll even throw in a free air filter at no extra charge. And if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, how about a drain cleaning with camera inspection for only $88? Just call 833-3NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN and say goodbye to your AC heating or plumbing problems. And if you're concerned about the air quality in your home or have allergy problems, call NextGen and breathe easy with indoor air quality solutions to fit any budget. Call 833-3NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN or visit nextgenairanplumbing.com to schedule online.
NEXGEN, call 833-3NEXTGEN.
I don't know how I feel yet. What is this, Jorge?
I don't know. It's in the playlist here. I think it's from Alan's playlist.
Is this your song, Slee?
Oh, it's already. It was here.
Could be a fun one. Is it hip hop right here? I just kind of started hearing the beat.
Yeah, it's over now.
It sounded like Barney for half a second. Like it just got the doot 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 doot.
It was the only one that I've seen you dance to.
Yeah, I didn't say I hated it.
Yeah, you kind of went with it.
Yeah, I just kind of feel the one.
It's not a bad beat. Let the beat come in. But I don't know who it is.
I'll find out.
MC Barney.
Stop. That sounds pretty cool, actually.
It's not bad. Dude, you guys are making it sound like I'm saying Barney is bad. I'm just kind of feeling
Barney.
By the way, if you want to
Barney
listen,
energy.
you can listen to a lot of things, including that song, but you can also listen to Laker games on the ESPN LA app. All you need to do is click on the Lakers tile on the homepage. From now on, you can watch not watch. You can listen on the ESPN LA app.
That's fantastic. So you don't have to go searching for it. Just
It's
bam.
big time. It was
right there.
For years. People asked, "Is that we have that as an option? Now you have it as an option."
Slee, I don't have a lot of hard and fast rules in my life, but one of the ones that I do have is that when Paul in Huntington Beach wants to talk about the Dodgers, he goes right to the top of the list. What's up, Paul?
Dude, I appreciate that. Thanks, man. First off, to your previous segment, the Dodgers is the answer in the last 5 years as the only team that's legitimately had a chance at winning a championship every year for the last 5 years. Disappointments this year also notwithstanding. And to that point, man, I know we had Scherzer and Verlander and Montgomery, and Rodriguez decided he didn't like the City of Angels. So the Dodgers were left going and getting Lance Lynn. You know what, man? If I got to go win a ball game and I got that mean SOB on the mound, I mean, why not? At this point, Kershaw's shoulder is like hanging on by a thread, and rookies, apparently the lights are too bright. If I got to bet on anybody on this entire roster right now, why not that guy in a big game? He's going to go huff and puff and throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. Even if he can throw a home run, he's going to shove it up the next guy's back end and get it done. So I'm trying to be positive today. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate the call. It's what it's come down to, where you're basically saying, why not Lance Lynn? That's just the reality of the situation.
I have a reason.
Because nothing else
There's
has worked?
44 reasons.
Why not 50?
Yeah, that's the reason why not Lance Lynn is because he's surrendered 44 home runs this season.
Well, he's going to look like Pedro Martinez compared to the first two starters if he just gets through the first inning.
I'm mostly joking when I say that, but here's what's I'm sure of tonight. I'm not sure whether Lance Lynn is going to pitch great or pitch poorly. I don't know. We're going to find out in a handful of hours here. What I am sure of, Lance Lynn's not going to be scared. And you've heard me say this a million times. I like guys that I am certain are not scared. Right? Clayton Kershaw is all over that. I don't think he's scared for whatever he's pitching poorly, but I don't think it's fear of the moment. Lance Lynn gives up a lot of home runs, but I think it's more stuff related than it is, oh my God. Bobby Miller freaked the you-know-what out.
Did he freak out, or he just didn't know how to keep it? I don't think he was scared. I don't think he knew how to hold his emotions.
I don't mean scared as in, like, oh, I don't want to do this. Scared as in, oh, my God, this is huge. My heart's pounding 1,000,000 miles an hour.
How do I control this?
I don't know how to channel this yet. Right?
This is the biggest moment for him so far.
Walker Buehler very quickly figured that out. Walker Buehler's first postseason start was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I'm going by memory here, but I'm pretty sure he gave up 4 runs in that first inning. But for the rest of the way, he was pretty darn good. And then for like his next 8 or 10, he was lights out. He figured it out. He figured it out during the first game. Good for him. He is one of those guys. He doesn't rattle really easily. It's normal to get really big eyes and start breathing hard the first time you're pitching in one of those things, especially if you're trying to save the season because the Hall of Famer who pitched the night before pitched really poorly.
Yeah.
So I'm not. It's not a criticism of Miller. I expect him to be much better if he gets another chance to pitch this year. Just having felt it once will give him an opportunity to do it. I don't know what Lynn is going to run out there today, but I know it's not going to be because the moment's too big for him. It might just be that he doesn't have good enough stuff, but he's not going to be scared.
Won't be scared, and I think the bigger question is going to be, can the Dodgers put themselves in a position where they finally have a lead in the series? Will some guys who you're depending on a night-in, night-out basis that carried you all season long, are they going to be able to deliver? The game's not on Lance Lynn.
No,
Lance Lynn's a piece of it, but they're also going to go probably to Pepio if things aren't going well in a couple of innings, so it's not like it's all on his shoulders.
And that's why I like Lynn more than I like Pepio out of the chute, because I don't know about Pepio. Pepio's got better stuff than Lance Lynn at this point. I mean, that goes without saying, but I don't know. And maybe if Lance Lynn can give you 4 innings and only give up a run or maybe 2, and the Dodgers can score 4 or 5, and then you got Ryan Pepiot with a little bit of breathing room. All of this stuff helps. It's about the offense. Look, they can't get bombed out the way that they did with Kershaw. And as bad as Bobby Miller was, again, get ready. I'm going to give Dave some credit. He stopped the bleeding exactly when he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
It was, okay, we can't let this get any further. We got to do it. They only give up 4 runs in that game. That's good enough. If you said right now the Dodgers are only going to give up 4 runs tonight, I would take it. I'd take it right now on the spot. Because if that's not good enough, it means they didn't hit again.
Mm-hmm.
They have to hit. It has to come back to Mookie. It has to come back to somebody that can perform in big moments, which brings me to this. Did they blow it by not bringing Corey Seager back? Look at what Seager has done for the Rangers this year. Look at what he's done in this series. Look at what he did in the opening series against Tampa. That this is a guy who very clearly is comfortable playing in games like this. NLCS MVP, World Series MVP. Is it a bad deal for the Rangers? Not right now, it's not. It may be when Corey Seager's 38 years old. Maybe it's like, I can't believe we got to pay him this money. Rangers might win the World Series. And it's not like it's a bad bet. He's a good player. A little bit of an injury bug.
Yeah.
But the further we get away from that and the more you see him continue to perform at this level, the more I think that Seager was one of those guys you break your rules for. Look, if it's going to take 10 years, I know we don't want to give a guy a 10-year deal. Let's make an exception for him. Let's do it for that guy because the next 5 years that you were talking about, Slee, the next 5 years with Corey Seager are different, and I'll worry about the 5 after that later.
The reason why I don't think Seager was – it's easy to look at Corey Seager right now and say they should have kept him. By the way, there were a lot of Dodger fans. That was their favorite player. The dude didn't seem like he had any issues in coming through in the clutch.
He was just money.
He's just money. And by the way, go watch him with Texas right now.
Money.
He's been money. The Seager thing, it was, well, we got Trey Turner. So there was this, they had already made a decision.
They had bad intel on that, by the way. They should have known that was going to go the way that it did.
Which way? That Trey Turner wasn't going to sign?
Yes.
But that's not the Dodger way anyways.
What do you mean?
How much did Trey Turner end up getting? $300?
All of it.
So we're going to go back to this. It's the Trey Turner thing's not that much different than the Corey Seager thing. What I mean by that, I'd rather have Seager than Trey Turner.
I think they made an economic decision with Seager that with Turner, I think they would have been a little bit more aggressive because you don't have the safety net of the next guy, right? That Gavin Lux as the next guy, the drop off from Seager to Turner, marginal, right? They're both fantastic players. The drop off from Seager Turner / Deluxe is real. That's a real gap. So had you known that Turner was only a short timer, I'm not so sure you don't make a different decision with Seager. That namely, you know what, I'm going to eat 2 or 3 bad years on the end of this to get the 5 or 6 front ones. And this is the same thing we talk about at the trade deadline. The Dodgers are so averse to being stuck with a bad deal that they let really good players sometimes go a little early because they don't want to do the back end. Well, what about the front end? And right now I think you're seeing some front end issues that once you get past Mookie and Freddie and maybe, Muncy and some others, but Seager is killing it. And we're talking about that spark, that thing. And by the way, Seager's not Kirk Gibson ranting and raving.
I know.
But the dude just keeps laying out hits.
To answer your question, I do think that has affected them. I think that they're so responsible that there are players that are out there that could be a part of the Dodgers that could be helping them today, but their problem is, which is one of their strengths, is they don't want to have that contract. This is the thing they always, no, the Dodgers wouldn't do that. They just wouldn't do that.
They haven't.
But look how far off you are. If the Dodgers are not going to give Corey Seager a 10-year, $325 million deal, what type of deal would they give him? Just give me what would have been a Dodger deal that they would have said yes to?
So with the average annual value remaining the same, a 6-year deal?
6-year deal.
Yeah. So I'm ballparking this.
But I don't think you're wrong. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Look how big of a gap they are from what another team would do compared to the Dodgers. So is that going to change tomorrow that the Dodgers are going to say, well, you know what? We need to start keeping some of these players, and it's they're so far off from what another team would give. I don't know if that changes.
I think that's the ultimate question when it comes to this team. I really do, which is, when does the short term matter as much as the long term? Like, right, when does today matter more than what it might be 3 or 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 8 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Because if Corey Seager were here, maybe things are a little different. Now, would you have a bad year or two? Like, think Pujols, right? This was not when Pujols was done in St. Louis, there were clear signs of decline.
Yep.
It had already happened. The team that had him was like, we're not doing that. And you gave an aging, declining player 10 years. The first couple of years were okay, but they weren't. This is still a guy that's in the meat of his prime.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got to eat a couple of bad ones on the back end to get some good ones up front, I wonder, and I don't think they're going to change. I think they really do believe we have our way. There's a reason we win 100 games every year.
Yep.
We just won 100 games with 5 guys nobody's ever heard of. We're going to go do it again, and I'm not paying that because it allows me to Mookie. It allows me to Freddie. It allows me to go big when I want to because I'm not stuck with one of those long-term deals.
Trev, isn't that part of the problem? You and I have talked about next year. Every time we bring up Shohei, use as an example, it's like, well, okay, well, Ohtani's not pitching next year. They need pitchers, and you say, they have 5 or 6 guys that every other Major League Baseball team would want. Those are not players. Dodgers are in a window where they're trying to win today. They're also being very smart about tomorrow. The question that I always have with the Dodgers is, okay, I understand you got 5, 6 guys that every team out there would love to have, but that doesn't mean they're proven commodities to help you today. Mm-hmm. Let me use Bobby Miller as an example in this first game, or Sheehan, or one of these other players. I'm not saying in 2-3 years that these guys are not balling out, but what is that balance of saying, yeah, but we need to also worry about today? What gives us the best shot today?
I think that they're saying that we are trying to win today and tomorrow and 5 years and 10 years, that our window never closes.
Here's the problem.
But hold on, let me finish. That the reason they got stuck like this, Julio got messed up.
Yep.
Right? Kershaw broke.
Yep.
Bueller broke. May broke. Gonsolin. They're 5 guys. They all broke. We're literally pitching 6
They had the most guys out. If you count up all the injuries, I think they were number 1 in Major League Baseball.
This wasn't the plan, and I'm not, just because we had some bad luck injury-wise and bad luck behavior-wise doesn't mean that I drastically alter the plan because we got a little bit of bad luck. And I'm not arguing that that's the best way to do it, but I think that's how they see it, which is we did it without these guys. When these guys come back, even if we get 60% of them back, and now these guys do have experience, Bobby Miller will be a better pitcher next year.
Of course,
for
he
getting
will.
his ass kicked the other
100%.
night. He'll be better.
I
because
agree with
of
you.
It. But they're willing to. What they don't want to do is kick the window slightly more open for a year and then have it close 3 years from now. They want to leave it the same amount of open for as long as they can. That's their philosophy.
I believe in their philosophy up until they've had runs in the postseason where everyone was there.
Mm-hmm.
They've had runs in the postseason where some people were there, some people were not. And we'll just use that 5-year window. When I say go look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, what's the first thing that comes out of your mouth? I say over the last 5 years, what comes out of your mouth?
Not good enough.
Disappointment.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. However you want to describe it.
Yeah, not good enough, and Corey Seager should still be here. I didn't think so at the time because I thought Turner was a chance, but everything I understand is that was literally never going to happen.
Because he wanted to go on the East Coast.
Somebody close to him did not want to be in L.A. That's the understand. That I literal hell no. Not happening.
His real estate agent.
They should have known that. That's something that they should have had a pretty good handle on. Lincoln Riley says that you've already made up your mind, Slee. He says you're a bad guy. That's coming up next. It's
Thanks,
Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
The most followed sports
dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
How many?
6.
You're 6 in?
Yeah, because Beckham took 4 hours, so that was 4
So
episodes.
you got sidetracked by
Beckham. Exactly.
Okay.
I
finished Beckham yesterday.
On Beckham, I wanted to see if I made the cut. Like when I shook his hand.
I haven't gotten to the end. Did you make it? Are you in there?
For Beckham?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, finished it over the weekend.
No. Do you show up in the Beckham documentary?
Oh no, I did not, man.
I'm sure they finished that filming a while ago.
They should have recut it.
Sure, exactly.
Right?
No, actually,
we got to drop it.
The way they finished it too, it's Messi, a part
Shows
of
up.
Inter Milan, and
That's right. Spoiler.
or Inter Miami.
So, are you still all in on Sopranos?
I am.
Yeah?
I'm back at it. Last night I watched episode 6, and
Me and Jorge are on the same episode.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep watching.
We thought we were having a little side conversation yesterday, and I'm like, Trav, I don't know if he's still in this thing. I just haven't heard much about The Sopranos.
Knowing that he got sidetracked by Beckham makes more sense now.
Yeah.
That's fine because you probably aren't
priorities.
settling in for 5 hours of TV a night.
Yeah, Emily
right?
says she's gonna start watching Beckham this weekend on Sunday.
No,
maybe.
I don't have any time. I have Sopranos to watch. Rewatch.
I watched one last night too. Michael and I we're almost done. We only got like 4 or 5 episodes left, so I'm not going to talk about what I saw last night. But you're in the sweet spot. You're in the sweet spot.
It's good stuff.
It's really good stuff.
Yeah,
It sets up everything for the rest of the
Yep.
series. It's such a great first season because they kind of tackle a different big subject every episode. Like they deal with like death, they deal with marriage, they deal with other things. It's kind of a big event happens that shapes who Tony is.
Have you gotten the pleasure of a good Paulie episode yet?
No, I don't think so.
Paulie.
Paulie is amazing because he's a sociopath who's hilarious without knowing it. It's wonderful. Paulie is an amazing,
can't wait.
amazing.
It's great for
character.
Richie.
Richie's a great character.
He's also in a great other gangster movie called Bound. If you've ever
I don't know
seen
that
that
one.
one.
Do you know
It's good.
Bound, Al?
No.
It's by the people who did The Matrix.
Oh, the Wachowski brothers or something
Sisters
like
now.
Sisters now.
Yes.
Okay,
Wait, both of
yes.
them? Sisters?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow, I didn't know that. Learn
really?
something new every day.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my thing. I can go to bed for the rest of the
Lana,
night.
and what's the other one?
I
Good night,
have no
guys.
idea.
Lana, and
Yeah,
Lana.
I have no idea. SC is unbeaten.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They got the best player in the country, and they're going to Notre Dame this
Do
weekend.
we know how good they are?
Yeah, I think we know that they're really good offensively, and they have the best player in the country, and they're
Okay.
incredibly vulnerable. But Lincoln Riley was talking about you, Sliwa, the other day, where he says
Perfect.
that everyone in the media is set up and waiting for them to fail.
A lot of people in the media had their mind made up that the first second there was any adversity this year, saying, "Oh my God, should have done this, and they should have made this change, and blah blah blah." And it's not true. Like, you're going to go through the whole year. You're going to have a tough game. Like, you're going to have a tough quarter. Do you respond? Right? Do you show continued growth? And that's going to continue to be written throughout the entire year. But there's a lot of great things happening here, and we'll own the things that need to get better. But people need to make sure they're seeing the other side of it as well.
I saw the other side in Oklahoma. I saw the other side in the Rose Bowl when Georgia, you scored 48 points or whatever, and it wasn't enough to advance to the national championship game because Georgia had 50-something. I saw last season where you lost a game to Utah because you scored 47 points and it wasn't enough. I've seen you mess around with 3 mediocre to less than mediocre teams in Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State that if you didn't have the best player on the planet in college football, you would have lost 1, 2, or all 3 of those. This is not a rush to judgment. This is the same old thing over and over again, and him pretending that it's not happening is the problem.
I think you could shut up everybody by just if I'm going to give SC credit, I'll give them credit in this. They've had some games where they're head scratchers saying, what the hell is going on? The Arizona game this past weekend, they should have lost that game. We're talking about Arizona. Why are you not going for 2? Go for the win. Go for the kill, all that. They're putting up points. Points isn't a problem. You're having close matchups against schools that everybody thinks you should be dominating. If you're one of the top 5 schools in the country, okay, maybe you have one game. You're at Colorado, and you were up a couple scores, but you ended up winning by 7 points, 48-41. But you've had just enough where you do lose some confidence. You do have some questions. You do question, hey, is USC really a contender or are they not? I don't believe they are, but this is the one thing that they have done. They have not lost a game yet. And that even in some of these close games where they should have lost or whatever the case is, or they should have won by a lot more, they did win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Give them that. They're putting up 43, 48, 42, 56, 66, 56 points in their 6 games so far. But I think the part of Lincoln Riley sitting in the question marks, what do you expect to happen? You could shut us up. Let's use this weekend as an example. At Notre Dame, if they won and it looked good. By the way, it doesn't have to look good. Just win because you're at Notre Dame and it's a tough game. But 4 or 5 of the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of your next 6 games are against ranked opponents. If I told you right now, what's more likely? SC loses 1 of those games or loses 3 of those games?
I'd pick 3.
I would pick 3 as well.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't like the media's after this. They're waiting us for. You're showing what you've shown so far, and your team has shown so far. Your university is that you can't get stops, that no game is guaranteed, and that you've lost confidence. And go look at the rankings; they've moved backwards 3 weeks in a row.
What he's shown is that it's more about ego than it is anything else. What he's shown is that the problem is very obvious. And it hasn't been addressed. And so the question isn't what's the problem. Everybody knows the problem. The problem is they give up too many points. The question is, what are you going to do to fix it? His answer was nothing. I'm going to let it. I'm going to roll it again.
I'm going to try this other thing that I already do really well and just see if it can overdo what is wrong.
I am not going to adjust my defensive scheme, my coaching staff. I'm going to do it again.
You're painting over the mold.
I'm just going to do it again and hope that it's different. And the question is, okay, why? Ego. Because here's where we've entered. There's not a person out there that doesn't think that Lincoln Riley is a brilliant offensive football coach. He's 3 Heisman Trophy winners. They score 50 points a game. He is a brilliant offensive football coach, full stop. The reason they didn't win in Oklahoma and the reason they haven't won so far at SC is because the defense isn't good enough. Why haven't you fixed it? Because especially now, if after the first time or two you fix it, it's Lincoln Riley not only a great offensive football coach, but he knows the right guys to put in. Now it's, they went out and got, Joe Blow, the star defensive coordinator, and that finally got SC over the top. That he finally had to go get the help. When it wants to be, hey, SC's a national championship again because Lincoln Riley's a genius. Explain it to me otherwise.
I don't agree with. I have a difficult time understanding that Lincoln Riley thinks in his head if he goes out there and gets – I can't justify why he hasn't done it.
Give me an alternate explanation.
But if USC won a national championship or got to the – let's just say they got to the college football championship because next year they went out and got one of the best defensive coordinators that's out there, you could give that defensive coordinator all the credit that you want. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't, all that stuff, you should. But it's not like Lincoln Riley's not going to get all the credit in the world as well. It's not like the opportunities for Lincoln Riley are going to all of a sudden go away because people are saying to themselves that a defensive coordinator came in.
Not
He's still going to get the credit.
He'll get some of it. He won't get all of it. This way he gets all of it. I don't want some of it. I want all of it.
Then you're never going to win.
Well, that's the whole point. Egomaniacs are a thing. People working against their own best interests. It happens all the time. To everybody. Jerry Jones has refused to hire a real football coach in Dallas for 30 years because he doesn't want Jimmy Johnson to have all that credit. He wants the credit. It happened that especially like Nick Saban goes out and hires great assistant coaches, right? Because Nick Saban has always put together staffs that work for him. So Nick Saban, but now you have a track record of you've got this incredible vulnerability that everybody is aware of. And if you got a new guy every year, it's like, okay, look, we're trying. He's trying. It's this, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to roll it again. And I can't come up with an explanation other than ego. I can't come up with one because it's obvious what the problem is.
At what point does USC then jump in or the new athletic director, Jennifer Cohen, jump in and say, we love you. This is awesome.
You going to find somebody better than this? That's the problem.
No, you don't have to change Lincoln Riley. But what you could tell Lincoln Riley is, we're not coming back with the same defensive coordinator.
Yes, we are. I'm leaving.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's a weird deal. It's a weird deal because if it 1 year they lost 14 to 10. And then the next year they lost 47 to 45, and then the next year you lost 28 to 20. Like, fine, it's all different reasons. You turned it over too many times in one game. All of these, it's the same problem, and it's not just at SC.
Okay, could I? No, okay. Well, if you do that, I'm leaving. So
there'd be a line of people waiting to hire him. There'd be a line.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
but you're 2 years in. Let's say they end up with 3
They're not
losses
squeeze
this
him
year.
Yet. They're not going to squeeze him.
I'm not
yet.
asking you to squeeze him.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to try to do what's in the best interest of the football program.
You do this thing where you think everybody is logical and reasonable and that ego and hubris and all these things don't factor into decisions constantly.
They do.
The reason he's is who he is because that same unbelievable belief in my method, Andrew Friedman.
Yep.
My way works, and I'm going to show you that it works, and you're not going to tell me how to do it.
Yes.
And you don't get to decide how I fix
Yep.
this. I decide how I do it, and it keeps going.
Until it doesn't work.
And
then it doesn't work again.
But we see
and
it
then
happen
it doesn't
all
work
the time.
again.
The people work against their own best interests. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm saying that if you make the same decision 10 times in a row, I'm pretty sure you're going to do it on 11th, right? Because after 3, a reasonable person goes, you know what? Instead of going right, I'm going to go left. But an unreasonable person says, my way is the way to do it. I'm going to keep going right until it works.
It's going to work eventually.
It'll work eventually. You'll all see. That's Jerry Jones.
You'll see.
Right?
Well, the Lincoln Riley, he's right. It's the media's fault.
Okay,
it's not the defense's fault. It's the media's fault.
Before we break, Jorge, have we gotten to the part in Sopranos where it's like, so what now? No Ziti?
Hey.
No, I still haven't gotten
Paulie.
Hey,
I don't think so.
no Ziti?
On the rewatch, his children are more monstrous than they were the first time through.
Oh, yeah. Meta was so unlikable.
They're just wait. They're both just hateable
Well, no,
characters.
I did not like AJ the first time around. I definitely think I'm not going to like him the second time
Neither
around.
did I. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so much worse than I remember. Maybe it's as a parent, because the first time through, my kids were little teeny tiny kids. But you'd want to I'm on Tony's side with this stuff.
It's almost like, again, just to get a little deep here, it's almost the issue of upward mobility at times because, the kids. So Tony was raised a certain way, and then Tony raises his kids to not have to deal with the same things that he had to deal with, and then this is the kids that are produced because of it.
Why don't you go to college, Dad? I didn't.
He's got some other things going on. I got some other things going on.
Why don't you dress a little different?
He went to
a little more
he went to
business-like.
Seton Hall for a semester. You went to Seton Hall for a semester.
Rutgers or Seton Hall?
It was Seton Hall.
Was
I
it
think,
Seton Hall? Yeah.
He did online.
One of those liberal
Jackie
arts
Jr. went to Rutgers.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
University of Phoenix. Citrus College. What's that one?
The Owls. Citrus College is the Owls.
The Mounties.
Yeah.
By the
Why
way,
do I remember that stuff?
Announcement made by Lord Bergman earlier today, but you can now listen to Laker games in the ESPN LA app. All you need to do is click on the Lakers tile on their homepage, and boom, bam!
Boom.
There's the Lakers game.
X going to give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you.
Who's hot? Who's cold? Coming up next is Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, we got a great event coming up here at Sierra Subaru in Monrovia. I talk a lot about their cars, but I also talk about what they're doing within the community through Subaru Love Promise Initiative. So Subaru Loves Pets and Real Bark are teaming up at Sierra Subaru of Monrovia to host a pet adoption event coming up on October 21st. For every pet adopted, Sierra Subaru of Monrovia will donate $100 and a new Bark Box pairing kit. Make a dog's day with Sierra Subaru and Real Bark. Just head to sierrasubaru.com. I'll just tell you a little bit more about the event. If it's something that you've been thinking about doing, you've wanted to adopt a pet for a while, it's going to be a great event. It obviously is all about a good cause, and Sierra Subaru is going to do everything they possibly can to incentivize those that come to help out within the community. Again, just go to sierrasubaru.com for more information or visit them just off the 210 and 605 freeway.
The OGs.
Angeles Rams will be entertaining the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday afternoon at SoFi Stadium, and they will be doing it without Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson traded to the Atlanta Falcons earlier this week. The Falcons send a 2025 sixth-round pick to the Rams for a seventh-round selection in the same year, a pick swap between Atlanta and the Los Angeles Rams. 4 years for Van Jefferson here in Los Angeles. A slow year for him this year for sure. Just 8 catches for 108 yards, and he did not find the end zone. He did have a big year back in 2001 when the Rams won the Super Bowl. He started every single game for them that season and had a career-high 89 targets, 50 catches for 802 yards. He also got into the end zone 6 times. Van Jefferson traded to the Atlanta Falcons for a 6th-round pick. With Wednesday's Rams Report, I'm Travis Rogers.
That's today's Rams Report, presented by ZipRecruiter.
Did you know it can now take up to 11 weeks on average to hire for an open position? Look, if you're hiring for a growing business, stop waiting and start using ZipRecruiter. 3.8 million businesses have come to ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs, and so should you. Right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/LA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LA. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Your Los Angeles Rams are staying home to welcome the Arizona Cardinals to SoFi Stadium this Sunday. Come see the Rams defend their home turf as they go head-to-head against their division rivals in an NFC West battle this Sunday, October 15th at 1 p.m. To secure your tickets, visit therams.com/AZ. Again, that is therams.com/AZ to see the Rams take on the Cardinals this Sunday, October 15th at SoFi Stadium. Secure your tickets now and see you at the Rams house.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges.
And Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m. Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to NextGen. Let's start with who's hot. Flag football in the 2028 Olympics. Take it away, producer Emily.
All right, so it's in the works for flag football to be a part of the 2028 Olympics. So every Olympics, the host nation has the ability to add new sports to the Olympic roster, and a lot of times they'll try to do something that country is very good at.
Mm-hmm.
So USA would love to add. They want to add baseball, softball, flag football, and squash.
Overeating.
Yeah, overeating as well. But so they're set
squash,
to vote.
huh?
Yeah, so they're set to vote on at the end of this week in Mumbai when they all meet to decide the sports
Who paid
Olympics.
the highest bribe to decide which goes where?
Exactly.
Okay,
That's exactly what happens. But
got it.
Do you want to see flag football in the Olympics? And would we see someone like Tyreek Hill or Josh Allen play? That'd be cool.
You brought the exact right guy. The exact right guy. My kids played flag football, and it's super fun because it's just purely athletic, right? You don't have to worry about getting killed.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if Tyreek Hill could do what he wants to do, but didn't have to worry about getting ear-holed by a safety.
Sure.
The show
if you
that
spin just enough, it's harder to get the flag.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just that incredible level of athleticism that a guy like Tyreek Hill could bring to it, I would love to see it. I love that idea.
So I want to see it, but I'm not sure how entertaining it's going to be, but I'd rather try it and find out than
We
not.
love football.
I love football, but there's a certain football that we're accustomed to that we love. I'm going to use as an example the Big Three. That's what it was called, right?
It is called.
That wasn't for me. I love basketball. I just didn't watch that. That's not something I went to. And these were former players that I was even familiar with. I'm okay to watch this, to try it. I just don't know how entertained I'm going to be, but I'm down to see what it is.
I'm up for it.
And we'll see also what other countries might have some great prospects, because I know Canada has their own football team. I know Germany, they play football over there, but we'll see if anybody else can even compete.
If you could come up with, start a program, I'm thinking, and Jorge, help me out with this, like a Brazilian soccer team. Mm-hmm. The way that those guys can move and shake and shift and quick, they're really good in short, tight spaces, right? To create their own space, that translates really well. Now, whether you could throw and catch, that would take some time to develop that. But those guys that are incredibly dynamic in tight spaces would be amazing at flag football.
Yeah. It is NextGen's Who's Hot. It is NextGen's Who's Hot, Who's Cold. Time for Who's Cold. Max Scherzer celebrating with the Rangers.
All right. So Max Scherzer is a guy who seems like he knows how to have a good time, or maybe a very good time very quickly.
Yeah.
So I know that we had this when he was pitcher for the Dodgers. He pitched the final outs of the NLDS against the Giants back in 2021. So I'm going to play the sound of that. His on the field interview after the Dodgers won that series.
It mean like to have both of those guys there cheering you on?
Yeah, Kalong told me a couple days ago. You got to get rid of this echo. Can't talk. I'm drunk. Whatever.
And that was mere moments after the game was finished. This was not in the locker room after the game, but I'm going to play you what was happening yesterday in the locker room after the game. A little bit more time, but also Max was not pitching. He's injured, so he's not pitching right now. That's Max. Yeah, so Max Scherzer loves to enjoy a couple cold ones, so that's why he's cold.
Listen, I can't find anything negative to say about Scherzer. He's a competitor. He's delivered. The guy is always, like, from a baseball perspective. And then he's also the guy that got drunk 9 seconds after and have that interview. The interview where he's blaming the mic and the echo. I'm like, there's no mic and echo. You're high and drunk or something. Something's going on.
I have no
echo
criticism.
in the brain.
I have questions, though.
Uh-huh.
How do you get drunk that fast? Like, how do you go from – because that game, remember, he was on the mound. He got the check swing, strike three.
Yep.
They ring him up. Game's over. 10 minutes later, he can't string together 5 words? I need to know how to –
Here's the only way.
I need to know how to do that.
Here's the only way.
That sounds awesome.
Here's the only way, but I don't think this falls along the lines with Scherzer. The only way you get drunk that fast is if you haven't drank in a long time. But I have a feeling Scherzer is not going a long time without drinking.
If I went, and this would be a tragedy, if I went 6 months without having a drop to drink, and I chugged a couple of beers in 30 seconds, I think I'm able to talk.
I don't think I'm slurring words.
Yeah.
I might feel a certain way.
I'm impressed. I never judgment. I want to lesson.
That was the bottom of the locker room.
I want to take a tutorial. Jorge, he should make me a video.
Exactly. Let's make him a video.
Make me a video. What's hot?
Is he coming? I think he's eventually going to come back.
He had a good bullpen. I don't think he was on the roster for this time, but they could certainly add him. And if he's ready to go, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it says he's setting his sights on the ALCS.
What's hot and what's cold is sponsored by NextGen. NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. No, I do like that rule where you can kind of manipulate your roster between series. And I like that if somebody, like for instance, not that I'm saying this is going to happen, but if Clayton Kershaw just tonight, the Dodgers win, and I can't lift my arm over my head.
Oh, yeah.
They can take him off the roster and replace him with somebody else. But it also means you can't use him in the next round. That if you get removed in the middle, you could come back for the World Series, but once you're off for the next round.
But that's still important. It's key because a player like him, if he's done, he's done. Don't have the Dodgers also have a disadvantage past that.
Do you see where Steve Garvey is going to run for Senate in California?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that should have taken place, 35 years ago, if that's what he wanted to do. Like I
don't know. Our world that we're in. Yeah, no.
Well, good point.
Yeah, no, I think
fair.
that might be the best timing.
Take it all back. You're right.
This is the right
You're
time.
right. I don't like. I got a lot of Dodger baseball on in my house. I don't think my kids know who Steve Garvey is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the young end. Like Garvey was my guy for a long time. I'm 52 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just seems his moment, his Q value feels a little less. Go get him, Garv. Senator Garvey. We'll
Yeah.
see if it happens. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's producer Lindsay Baseball, and guess what? Thursday Night Football has a brand new home, and it's the 909 Sports Bar at Yamava Resort and Casino. Join me and the 710 Fun Games Department every Thursday night for a party. I will be giving away $1,000 cash every Thursday night. So, this Thursday from 4 to 7 at the 909 Sports Bar, win cash and watch football with me, producer Lindsay Baseball. Or maybe they should call me Lindsay Football. See you there.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, I don't know if this is for the dump or I should save this for Super Crosstalk, Al.
Okay.
But I just saw Mace go by. And he's bringing a very specific energy to the building today that I respect the hustle, but I don't know if today's the day to do it. We'll talk about that when he comes in here in about 10 minutes or so. The Milwaukee Bucks and their coach Adrian Griffin said on NBA Today just a few minutes ago that Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dame Lillard will make their debut together in Milwaukee's preseason game against the Lakers right here on Sunday. So you get to see Dame and Giannis in person, Slee.
It's awesome. That really is. And this is something unique. I was telling Michael about this, that you don't really play those Eastern Conference teams in the preseason.
It's usually the Suns, the Kings, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Portland
right?
Trailblazers.
They're all here. That's the ones you usually play. We're getting Brooklyn, which is a random one. But the Milwaukee one is the most interesting of them all because it's the Milwaukee Bucks. The trade just went down a couple weeks ago. That's really cool. We're not going to get to see Dame and Giannis
Do you know
until March.
Why it's different this year?
I don't know. Michael was saying that I think maybe part of the pitch with some of these players for preseason is, hey, you get to go to Los Angeles, spend a couple of days. Hey, you get to go to Vegas for a couple of days. I don't know why. It's unique. It's different. And remember, they got Sacramento tonight, playoff team. Golden State on Friday, playoff team. You get to see the Phoenix Suns.
Counterpoint. Preseason.
But at least from a fan perspective, at least for a half, you get to see some of the better players in the NBA.
All right. A couple, Emily, it looked like Colorado. Is that where it came from?
A couple in Colorado.
A couple in Colorado believes that they have captured video footage of Bigfoot.
Or
were they on a
it's someone
train?
in a Bigfoot outfit because it's Halloween.
Were they on a train?
No, I don't know if they were on the train or not. They just took a video.
Yeah, I saw the video.
You did?
Yeah.
You believe her?
Not at all.
Okay. So Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, what else? Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
Yeah. What
Aliens.
else? Aliens in the same, because we don't think that aliens live here. They visit here, right? But wouldn't we have found the corpse of a Chupacabra or a Bigfoot at some point?
Or maybe it's the same Bigfoot that lives longer than we do.
Yeah. If the pitch is, do you believe in it? I don't know if any of us are in the...
I want to. Megalodon. Is that out there? That's the one I'm willing to entertain. Here's why.
At one time existed?
No, that there may be something out there that's like the giant, enormous shark that we saw in the Meg movie, right?
Yeah.
And there are some real scientists that believe it's possible as well. The ocean, who knows?
Yeah, the ocean...
There's so much we don't know.
Right.
Deeper and deeper.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I have no idea what's
That's
there.
what I'm saying. Like, the ocean could be the thing that there could be something down there that we don't know, like the Megalodon.
Speaking of this, one of my favorite people on TikTok.
And chupacabras.
They do.
Exactly.
This person does a spooky lake month in October. In October, she does each day is a different spooky lake. And she just tells the spooky history of lakes that are real. And it's, I don't know, check it out if you're on TikTok.
Lakes at night are weird.
Oh, it's scary as hell.
They're
Yeah,
very still.
like a lake in the day is beautiful.
Yeah.
You go water skiing or fishing or whatever. You have a great time on the lake during the day. Go for a swim off the dock. Awesome.
I feel like half of the scary movies I watched growing up, it was, hey, let's go to the lake, and it's like at night.
A cabin in the woods.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
it's a
off
cabin in the
right,
woods.
You're off the beaten path, like the services, like the police and the fire and all the medical. Like they're not really. There's one guy. He's kind of a yokel. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't catch the bad guy who's lived there forever. Keeps chopping people up. Don't go to the lake.
You know
at
what's
night.
eerie? Just the moonlight hitting that.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to say lake hearing.
No, because it's so eerie because it's just calm water.
yeah.
And then the moonlight just hitting it, dude. Forget it.
Yeah.
Right, so apparently we have Bigfoot.
When it's coming
found
down. Look,
Or it's someone in a Bigfoot costume.
I'm not 100%. I'm a 99% no. I don't know. I'm going with the Megalodon and Chupacabras.
Well, it's just the it was almost, I don't know. You could watch the video. He just crouches down. He's like, oh, somebody see me?
Here are the handful of the top 10 of the highest NIL valuation in college football. Probably not a huge surprise that Shedeur Sanders is at the top of the list. Apparently $4.8 million in NIL funds. Texas is Arch Manning, just shy of $3 million at 2.8. Caleb Williams, surprisingly, at number 3 with 2.7, and then Travis Hunter from the Colorado Buffaloes as well behind him at 2.3 at number 4. I have heard numbers with Caleb Williams that are literally 4 times that amount.
Is there a reason
2.7 is not nearly enough.
Well, I don't think I'm with you. That was the most surprising of the list. Was why is Caleb number 3? But is there a reason why they wouldn't have the true valuations in money? Because it's not 2.7.
No, it's not. That's what I mean. I have heard upwards of 10.
Okay, so what? But just out of curiosity, what would be the reasoning to not show it all?
Well, the most obvious, the most obvious reason is the most obvious reason to never reveal your income, right? Mm-hmm. Because taxes and everything that comes along with it and everything else. But I'm not accusing anybody of anything. The other part could be if I know you're getting 10 and I'm only getting 1, well, now I want more, right? Because maybe I'm not equal, but I'm not 10% of what you're doing. I want 50% of what you're doing. So to keep the market artificially low, potentially, maybe we're only going to reveal certain things.
I look at that list and I see Shedeur Sanders, I see Travis Hunter, and I'm thinking in my head, if I'm a 5-star athlete right now in high school, wait a minute, how much can my relationship with Dion potentially make me? That's 2 of the top 4 on the list.
Those guys, though,
Colorado
are NFL guys, right? Both Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are NFL players. They're going to go to the and they're on a program that has an incredible amount of buzz. So I get it.
But you don't see there's not a Bama, there's not a Ohio State.
This is what I think this is why they're going to slow play this stuff a little bit more. I think the part of the NIL that I've seen the most that kind of spoke to me as a college athlete who was, and don't get me wrong, I got exactly what I deserved. I got to go to school for free because I didn't bring a nickel of revenue into my school. I got a good deal. But these other guys that are on revenue-producing sports, when Utah passed out trucks to everybody on the team, like if I'm a rank-and-file guy, that's a good deal. Shedeur Sanders is going to get millions. Caleb Williams is going to get millions. But if I come play football and I'm a backup linebacker,
long snapper, and I get a truck, that's a damn good deal. Heck yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of stuff to me that is the thing that makes this better. The rich guys are going to get rich. Caleb Williams is going to get his money. Shedeur Sanders is going to get his money. But I'm the second-string punter, and I get a Dodge Ram truck. Let's go. I get a Chevy Silverado. Let's go.
Sign me up.
Yeah. That's the stuff that's intriguing to me.
I'm interested in all these other 5-star athletes or 4-star athletes that are out there. I have a curiosity of what some of those guys are making. What's the guy that's at Alabama?
But as an offensive lineman.
I actually think there are. I was just going to say, I think there are numbers to those. Those are associated with you're getting a mill. If you're an O-lineman who's one of the best O-linemen in the country and you're picking our school over that school, you're making a mill.
Did you see what Mark Stoops said about Georgia? So Kentucky was unbeaten. Georgia goes in there and just
kicks their butt,
kills them, just destroys them. And Stoops said after a while, Georgia went out and bought a bunch of really good players, which they did. But it wasn't delivered as they're cheating. It's delivered as, I don't have the pockets that the guys at Georgia have. Kentucky fans, if you want me to compete with that, you got to chip in. And this is what it's become, that it's pro sports. Always was, but now we don't have to do it
I was
in the back.
Say,
we can do it in the front.
Was it – it's not different. No. It's just more there's no hiding of it.
I don't have to give you the keys to your truck in the back room when no one's looking. I can give them to you on campus in front of everybody with a camera
on social media.
Right. It's very different and it's better. It was today, October 11th, 1975, the debut of Saturday Night Live. It's still on nearly 50 years later. And Emily, you're the right person to ask about this. Saturday Night Live when I was a kid was a huge deal. Yeah. When I was a young adult, it was a huge deal.
Even when I was in college, I think it was a really big deal.
Yeah. It was. I still watch it, so I'm a Saturday Night Live fan. Does it resonate with a 20-something?
I think that it depends on the 20-something. I think that when I was growing up, just starting watching TV, and I had the Fred Armisen, Seth Meyers, end of Amy Poehler, that era, I was locked in. And that kind of also influenced...
Do you watch it now?
I do watch it now.
Okay.
But it influenced the comedy shows that I watched. It influenced my own comedy, who I go to see. So SNL shaped my comedy. I don't know if you asked your son if he watches SNL and how it shapes him, I think would be different. Because I think this version of SNL has less cultural sway than it has in the past, but it still has cultural sway.
Yeah, but the reality is, I mean, if you
You're all right. You're on. You're on. You're on.
So the
Is he on?
Other mic.
Yeah,
mic.
I'm hearing.
I can't hear him.
Why is the red light on then over there? Let's try that.
Lights,
Careful
I
your
don't
collar.
know what the
Now
hell's
you're on,
happening.
Mace.
There you go. So the thing about Saturday Night Live, though, is you're constantly bringing in, like, for example, 20-somethings. Well, now the cast members are 20-somethings. So the show gets immediately more contemporary as it goes along. By the way,
But it's still the same show.
I was watching it when Jane Curtin was there. She was watching it when
Jane,
Amy
you
Poehler
ignorant-
was there.
No, I'm not. And I've watched the Jane Curtin. I've watched old SNLs, and I think a lot of the non contemporary stuff still works.
Yeah.
The sketches still work. I do think though that kids that are 20 are not turning on cable TV and watching it on Saturday night.
Right.
They might catch clips on TikTok and
Sure.
YouTube.
But it's the same
next
show.
day.
The performers are different.
Yeah.
But it's a monologue.
Yep.
It's a couple commercials.
Yes.
Like
Maybe
fake
a recorded
commercials.
Yeah.
sketch.
It's a sketch. It's a band. It's Weekend Update.
You've got
it's a
the
band.
cold open. The cold open is like the big thing.
The cold open is but that hasn't changed
No,
at all. And
no.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that to not change something for 50 years
Yeah, and
is
have it work.
remarkable.
Yeah.
What was the best era for you guys of SNL?
That's a good question.
I think it's whenever you were a kid or whenever you
Not
were
for
in
me.
high school or
And
college.
I'm terrible with dates, but the
Will Ferrell
the
days
Phil
to me
Hartman,
was-
Will Ferrell,
Yeah, that's
that
it.
group
Yeah.
of guys was the one.
late 90s.
Yeah, yes.
When was Eddie Murphy? Eddie Murphy was
Early
early
to
80s?
mid 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty early.
Early 80s?
Yeah.
You're old, Mace.
I saw a story come across
Eddie
that.
Murphy, 1980 to 1984.
There you go. I saw a story today that came across. By the way, if you guys ever want to go to Saturday Night Live, if you're in New York, we can work on it. Both Ireland and I know somebody there.
I would love to do that.
It's a really cool experience. So it's 10 years since the finale of Breaking Bad.
Oh, my God.
Since the finale of Breaking Bad.
I posted on Instagram twice that day with my reaction of watching the finale of Breaking Bad. I was so into Breaking Bad.
Why
so
did
great.
you need the second one? I understand
okay.
the first one.
Because no one was following me, and Instagram was different.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Instagram was different then. We just posted whatever you wanted whenever you wanted, and but I posted with a stevia packet.
Sure.
Yeah, because I was
Spoiler.
my parents had it.
Yes.
Lydia
you don't know why
Rodard
it's
Quayle.
spoiled.
Oh, Lydia.
I love that name.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fun
great.
to say.
Lydia.
It's fun to
But
say.
anyway, I love that finale.
But can you believe it's been 10 years
No.
since the finale?
So I was late to that.
Yeah.
I was late to the series.
A lot of people were, yeah.
I did not watch it as it was happening. I watched it after it had concluded by maybe not 10 years, but 4 or 5.
Right.
Yeah. So
And I think, by the way, the finale is one of the best finales there's ever been. It tied up every loose end. It left Jesse free.
Okay,
it
what
left
about
him.
El Camino though? Did you like El Camino?
It's okay.
I liked El Camino. I didn't love El Camino, but I liked El Camino
agree.
a lot.
I was the same
love
way.
to see where Jesse went. He's a great character. But, 10 years.
10 years. You know, it hasn't been 10 years. It's
What?
Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
So, John, as the 710 resident Saturday Night Live expert, what is the best era of SNL performers?
Well, the beginning, when they had Belushi and Aykroyd and Gilda Radner and Lorraine Newman and Garrett Morris, is kind of the golden age of SNL. But it turned a corner when Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Seth Meyers. That's when it hit its stride, and Jimmy Fallon was on that cast, and Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell. They've all gone on to do great things. That's probably the heyday of SNL.
John, you couldn't see it, but for some reason, Travis made a really sour face when the name Jimmy Fallon was mentioned.
Oh,
what's your?
You're not a Jimmy Fallon fan?
I am decidedly not a Jimmy Fallon
Because?
Because he just goes next to the person doing the thing and makes a face. The person that's doing the song or the comedy or whatever it is doing the thing that's cool.
Yep.
And I just kind of elbow my way into the frame. Drives me insane.
So you're saying he doesn't let anybody's performance breathe on the show, that he needs to be in it and part of it? Is that what it is?
In it or do something that is inherently interesting on your own. Don't be next to the person doing
He does.
the
He
interesting
smiles on accident.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I watched a late night show.
Nah, I watch Kimmel occasionally.
Occasionally I'll see clips, right?
Yeah.
Sketches and clips, but I don't go out of my way to watch, who is it now? Colbert.
No,
I haven't either.
Kimmel and
Seth
Fallon.
Meyers is on.
Seth Meyers is on late.
Seth Meyers is funny too.
They
Seth Meyers.
haven't replaced Corden yet.
No,
I don't think. I'm up for that.
Here's my Jimmy Fallon explanation. It's not my joke, but it explains how I feel.
Okay.
There's an episode of The Simpsons where Bart and Milhouse are staring at a laptop.
Okay.
And they both break out laughing hysterically as Homer is passing by the open door. And Homer jumps in and says, "What are you laughing at?" And if you say Jimmy Fallon, I know you're lying. So
That's great.
That's how I feel about it. I think that's the best way to do it. Why do you have that shirt on today?
Because I'm already thinking about Game 4.
One step at a time.
I'm planning ahead for Game 4. I'm wearing a Clayton Kershaw tee.
A jersey.
A jersey. And I am getting ready for him tomorrow night because I believe we are going to win tonight.
I believe we're going to win tonight as well, or at least I'm hoping that we're going to win tonight as well. I can't even put myself in that frame of mind about Thursday until tonight is complete.
Yeah, no, I'm already getting ready for Thursday.
See, I don't like
yeah,
that
I'm skipping the day.
So not only are you,
I'm so positive I'm getting ready for Game 4.
Not only are you skipping tonight's game,
yes,
but you're also saying Kershaw is pitching tomorrow and is out there and doing his thing.
There is no. I mean, Dave Roberts said specifically now they could obviously change their plan, but he says Kershaw is going to pitch in Game 4, which I think. God bless him. I don't want to see him get blown up for a second time in a playoff series.
There's two reasons why that's a terrible idea. Number one, you just saw him have the worst night of his life, and it didn't feel like it was a total aberration.
Yeah.
But it was Outman's fault.
Sure.
Well, Outman should have made that catch. And that's when the inning unraveled.
Sure. Whatever you say. Of course. The other part is, if he is done... Right? If he's walking away at the end of this year, you really going to let him get pounded twice on the way out the door?
That's rough.
But here's the thing. It literally can't get worse.
Right. He will last longer than a third of an inning.
No, or
you think so?
Yes, I do.
Or he's not giving up 6 runs in a third inning.
Right.
As in they're taking him out before that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to throw him, but I think they are going to throw him regardless. They don't have a lot of other great options.
They don't have a lot of great other options, but I guess the argument could be anything is a better option.
Then Kershaw?
Yes. At this point,
he's
and
not healthy.
Not historically.
He just can't throw.
He
can't
pitch.
Yeah, he's not Kershaw at the moment.
He's hurt. He's not even a fraction of Kershaw.
Right.
He's not a fraction of anything. We saw what it was, and if everybody saw what we saw on, what was that, Saturday night?
Yep.
And now if there is a Game 4, the Dodgers somehow, some way have a little momentum. They won a game. You're telling me that the decision to run back the guy that gave up 6 runs and 1 out is the best? Is any decision?
Ireland will be a mistake, but they're going to do it, right?
They're doing it. Yeah. I mean, it's because they feel some type of weird loyalty to him, and do
you think it's loyalty? I don't think it is, actually. I think it is really a lack of options.
I think loyalty is a part of it.
Do you?
Sure.
He's
Clayton Kershaw. He's Clayton Kershaw.
If his name wasn't Clayton Kershaw and that person pitched the way he did in Game 1, do you think anybody would get a second chance?
Well, just to throw out an example, in 2017, Yu Darvish got lit up in Game 3 and then blew up in Game 7.
Right.
So it's not unprecedented that the Dodgers would call somebody back in for a start in a playoff series after they had the worst start of their career.
Let me flip it. Let's say that Clayton Kershaw, that his shoulder, which I believe is as injured as it is, he couldn't pitch. He's done.
Right,
He's out.
Right.
Lance Lynn gives you the 6 runs, 1 out. You pitching him in Game 4?
Well, wait a minute. We're pitching Lance Lynn.
No, I'm saying that if Kershaw never happened, but the result of Kershaw was Lance Lynn delivering it, you say, well, we don't have any options. We're going to put Clayton or Lance Lynn back out there in Game 4.
If I was
you
them,
wouldn't. The only reason they're doing it is because it's Clayton Kershaw.
If I was them, and I really think that at this point you would lose him for the CS, but I would activate Yarborough and move Kershaw off the roster because you can use an extra
And
arm
Yarbrough
for
can
long
cover
relief.
3 or 4 innings.
Exactly.
Isn't the better argument to not pitch Kershaw in Game 4 and tell everyone, guys, he can't pitch? Did you
He's
not
hurt.
see Game 1? He's
Yeah,
hurt.
just come out and say he's
But that's
hurt.
what I'm saying.
They won't. They just keep denying. There's nothing wrong. My shoulder's fine.
Aren't you better off saying, well, Kershaw, yes, he gave up 6 runs, but there's a reason why. The guy's shoulder he's not healthy.
So this John, wait on this, that if you go out there, you get judged on your performance, full stop. Whether you have a shoulder that's working, that's not, your knees hurt, whatever. If you're going to take the ball and answer the bell, then you get judged strictly on your performance.
I think if you pitch, yeah, that's it. No excuses, which is why I wouldn't put Kershaw out there.
Yeah, the history books will show. It won't say injured shoulder, diminished velocity. It won't say any of that in the record books. It'll just show Clayton Kershaw getting blown up.
Why are the Lakers playing all these teams from the East in the preseason? I asked Lee that they
play Sacramento tonight.
Right, but they have Milwaukee coming up.
Yeah,
they
in fact,
the Nets.
Brooklyn yesterday.
They said that Giannis and Damian Lillard are going to play on Sunday in that preseason
Maybe
game.
I'm misremembering, John, but it always felt like they played the Clippers, the Warriors, the Suns, the Kings. Like that was the preseason.
Well, what you do is you play teams that are geographically near where you are, and a lot of these Eastern teams have training camp. Like, for example, the Nets wanted to come out to Vegas for 3 days and train here. They wanted to break up being in Brooklyn for 2 weeks. I'm assuming the Bucks wanted the same thing. They wanted to be on the West Coast so they could have you got to get used to everything before the season starts, and one of those things is travel. If you just play 4 home games and then you get on a plane to play your opener, that can be kind of a shock. So it's preseason for everybody. But Sunday's nationally televised. It's a 4:00 tip, and hopefully LeBron and AD play. And if Giannis and Lillard play, that's a pretty good game for a preseason game.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, it's obviously in a sea of NFL football.
Do you guys need?
But everybody, and I've not watched a preseason game yet.
One game,
but everybody looks at this, and when they tweet about it, everybody's really thrilled with the way the team looks so far. Now it's preseason and all that, but there are like glowing reviews. Ireland, you have one. Slee, you have one. A lot of people on Twitter have them. The reviews are glowing for what we've seen so far.
Do you guys want, because I think Dodgers' first pitch, 6:05, 6:07, what'd you say?
07, I believe.
07, yeah.
Yep. John, Laker broadcast, what do you think, 7-10, somewhere around there in Anaheim?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys need any updates of the Lakers? What's happening there?
What is happening?
It's the water boy. It's Bobby Boucher.
Oh, the water boy. I like it. Wearing a water boy jersey and bringing me some water.
Is that like a prop from the movie, or did you? How did you
Must
get
be
that?
Nice, man.
I like it, man. Thank you for the water. We'll be
You got to
fully
get the little
hydrated
paper
on the
cups,
show.
Brian. So when you come in here, you can just refill everybody along the way.
He knows his Adam Sandler movies.
I was looking like.
I was like, here's
wow,
water.
Mace just gets water delivered to him?
By the way, a filthy cup.
They're all like that.
A filthy cup.
You have to accept them.
Filled with water. Is that right?
They're dinged up from the washing, or what's it called? The dishwasher.
The dishwasher, okay.
It's
Yeah.
clean. It's just banged up.
Yeah, no,
Why
guys,
are you taking this water? You guys drink
plenty of
water.
HTO.
Look at DeAndre parading around in his Eagles hat like he had something.
Yeah, get out of here, DeAndre. Get out of here. Get out of here.
He's feeling good over there.
So, are we in a good mood tomorrow?
Yes, we are.
John, you still on the sweep?
I think they're getting swept, yeah.
Oh, come on, John. Be a little, just one game, John.
Well,
don't they have one game in them?
Give John the credit on this, because John from the beginning was
I know.
like, this thing ain't going
I
anywhere.
know.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, since July, we've been saying this isn't a World Series team, so we shouldn't really be surprised at where it's going. I just think they got one game.
I'm surprised
in
it's going the way it's going.
Are you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure I am.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
It's like a barbershop quartet.
That's nice.
It's actually beautiful
You guys
voices.
need those little straw hats. Like, you can sing. You should be in a barbershop quartet.
I do not believe I have barbershop quartet skills.
No?
No.
What about the
I
striped
don't
jacket?
I don't do. I can wear a striped jacket. I just can't do like harmony. Like harmonies.
You're a solo artist.
Like melody, I have a loose grasp of. Harmony, I'm completely clueless.
You have no idea how close you got to me firing off that question from last week. I was literally gearing up to do it about your national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you ready?
You got to me about a half an hour ahead of time.
Oh, good.
We were getting
I
close.
wanted to call it because I didn't realize how far it was.
It's far.
It's really far. So
It's out
Let's
there.
not talk about that.
No.
It's pretty far.
I want to sing at a Kings game this year. I think tonight is the Kings opener. Is that right?
It is. Yes.
It is.
Who do they play?
They play the mighty
something or other
team from
the NHL
east of here. The mighty
Anaheim
east.
That's pretty smart. Team east of here.
It is one of those teams east of here.
Ducks open
Finally
in 2
come
nights
west
against the Knights. That's their opener. See, I'm a
They're
Ducks fan.
against the Avalanche. The Kings.
That is
are-
east of here.
the Avs. Yeah, it is east of
That
here.
is
I was
east of
totally
here.
right.
Nationally televised
I
on
pride
TNT.
myself on being right.
I was totally right is totally wrong. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about.